the abortions aren't helping by any means. But I also watched a video saying that um, telling people to just make more babies isn't going to work. I think it was Norway that they were looking at the study. I think it was Norway where they offered like some kind of tax incentivization and things like that, and they would have like little spurts, but the spurts still were declining, and it still wasn't helping. And even if you offered like wage, like no income tax on your wages, for women or something, if they have more babies, like, well, that's not going to make a difference if we're at home making babies because we're not going to have a wage to be taxed. So I don't know. There's all sorts of different stuff rolling around. I'm not sure what to do with it or how to think about it. But I'm hoping more people will jump on to get on this panel. How much just to hear you sing instead? Well, hey, if we don't have more people jumping backstage, then I'm just gonna start singing random stupid songs. And while we're patiently waiting for more people to jump on, um, like, is everyone just um take life too seriously? I've been playing around on Twitter, especially this last couple weeks, and it just blows my mind how people just take things way too seriously. Let me put this out there. 90% of what I say is probably out of jest or humor, and I laugh at a lot of dumb stuff. Like, I find a lot of things to be funny. Even dark stuff is funny to me. So I don't know why these people come in all serious and butthurt when I start laughing at something or I poke at something and I say something that I think is, it's something funny. Maternity leave is too costly and unfair to employers. Um, yeah, yeah. I know that in terms of people doing maternity leave, like it's not conducive to the employer, right? Not at all. Like you lose a lot when you have a woman go out on maternity leave, and if she ends up taking more time. And I don't even think maternity leave is necessarily costly on the dollar amount. It's more costly in other directions, like other employees have to pick up like the pace. They all have to pitch in extra. Um, you're you're out for essentially 8 weeks. Now, if you choose to take more time off than that, that's up to you. The hills are alive with the sound. Threw that in there. But oops, I don't want that. But yeah, so it's costly in a lot of other directions. But even at that, it's a disability claim. The employer pays like short term and long term disability insurance, so they would have already been paying that amount anyways. It's just the women are choosing to utilize it. Yodel, I'm not even going to try that. Somebody's going to clip it and ship it, and it's going to end up out there forever. Carolus Joxus just becoming a member. Congratulations. Welcome. James S says, what is with this abomination of the chat L emoji? L's for chat is as real as Australia. Chat L. You don't like my L's in the chat? L's in the chat? I like my L's in the chat. When you guys fail at hitting the like button and meeting the dono goals, you take your L's. Now, listen, when people say, hey, Sarah, who won the debate between such and such and such and such? And I say, nobody wins the debates except for the chat. The chat always wins because you guys are usually really amazing at roasting everyone. I mean, it's beautiful. I sit here sometimes and I'm just laughing deep down in the pits of my soul at some of the shit you guys say. It's quite comical. But every now and then you have to take your L's when you know what I mean? Like I provide a place for you to sit here and roast people, you know? Yodelay, 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 hee-hoo. I'm not fucking yodeling. Oh my goodness. Right, listen, I'll say you can either, let's see, hit 3 more dono goals and I'll open it, or get 3 more people backstage. Up to you. I'll leave it up to you. But you guys know how I like my heavy panels. I like my heavy panels. And then Thumping Weevil, who is waiting patiently backstage for all of you, sends in a big 10 and says, helping goals from backstage. Yes. Clip it. DD it for us. DD. What do you mean? Do it for us? DD? I don't understand what you mean. I'm guessing you meant do it. Do it. Do it. Yes, you did. Yodel. Anywho, so again, I was looking. I believe it was Elon Musk who dropped this map showing all of the numbers of birth rate decline, so on and so, or the birth rates, right? And it is. It's truly a global consistency. It's globally, this is like it was very few places that actually had the replacement rate. So even at that, like it's not it's I don't even know if you can blame feminism. I don't know if you can blame the lack of marriage or the people waiting until they're older. Like what can we blame? And if so, like why are we trying to blame it? So I feel like we're always in a knee-jerk reaction instead of preventative maintenance. Um Speaking of serious things, I'm really upset about the Cracker Barrel logo. Just can't get over they tried to change it. Okay, funny story. Funny story. My mom, actually was telling me that they had gone to Cracker Barrel, okay? Uh, and I was like, "Oh, like, with all the logo changes and everything, how was it?" And she said, "The food was terrible, the service sucked, like, everything was all over the place." I don't know if she was new or this or that, but, like, nothing was right. And I'm sitting there laughing because I'm thinking to myself, like, if Cracker Barrel was like, went through all of the stuff to change it, and then you go there and everything's like, how do you fuck that up? How do you fuck that up? K2 Keep On Truckin' says, "Ooh woo, ooh woo." All right, I'll tell you what. We're up to 85 likes. You need to watch Rob Noir versus Marlon. She's trying really hard to get herself banned from YouTube. Ooh. Oh, Mandy, thank you. All right. Well, I'm bored. We'll just fucking open this shit up. Why not? You guys aren't listening very well. Now listen, chat. I've let you get away with a lot lately. I've let you get away with a lot. I'll drop the link one more time in case there's any morons out there who don't know that it's pinned. Ah, there we go. All right. We got another one back there. I'm happy with this crowd. All right, let's fuck off. All right, Vibe, you were first here. I would love to hear because I know you're gonna deep dive into this one, and you got something smart to say to me. Bring it. Why the birth rate? What do you think about it? Tell me. You're muted. All this, you were waiting so patiently back there just to start off by being
with me.
muted.
On mute, right? Yeah,
Like
sorry.
amateur. All right, start it over.
Pathetic,
What do you
pathetic.
think?
But I do miss you, and it's great to be back on your panel. Marty, great to be up with you again as well. Um, I'm just going to throw a little wrench in this whole thing, in that based on the numbers from 2024, and actually if we go to the 1950s, we're actually seeing a continue increase. Now there is a prediction, and I do think actually it is a problem with the way society is moving. We see a prediction that the birth rates are going to decline, but we haven't actually hit the decline yet. So my twist in this whole thing, and I'm here like you, Sarah, trying to understand this because we debate it all the time. Why are we in this huge rush? I do think we have to rush to fix the problem before we get to 2080, when we actually predict that the population will be declining. But why we're actually in this fight today when there actually is no decline in the world statistics of population.
Oh, all right. That's a new thought. I like it. Daniel, what do you got for us?
Um, as far as declining birth rates, I'm not sure what causes it, but I definitely do believe that it is my generation, the millennial generation. Lots of divorces and lots of ditching your kids. I have so many kids, or so many friends from high school who just ditch their kids before even wanting it. And it's not even just that, though. Maybe it's also, other than abortion or less parents, also fertility rates are a thing. Although I'm not
So,
sure how
but
much that is affecting it right now.
well, so you're saying that they're having kids, but then they're not stepping up and being parents.
Oftentimes,
But
I'm
then
not
that
saying that about my parents. My parents were amazing, but
oh, that's so
I,
sweet. I love my
I,
parents too. But
I
then
always see it happening on the other side, and I'm like, why are you doing this? Because your parents are treating me like this too.
But then, with that though, like that, they're still making babies, whether they're being parents or not, doesn't make the difference. There's still baby making involved.
And I've seen some of my friends stay with their kids and raise incredible children. They're like definitely Zoomers, but they're 20 about now, and I've seen them growing up from zero to now. So I want to raise a kid just like that. I mean, I'm old now. I mean, I'm way older than that.
Okay. Weevil?
Well, I agree with the vibe. I do believe that it's not decreasing right now as much as we actually think it is, but there is a lower number since 2024 or even from 1980. I believe it's due to, the economic, social, and cultural shifts, declining traditional family norms, media influences, and future uncertainty. I think there's a lot that we just don't know about the future that we don't want to bring. Like, I feel like personally, I have kids, but other people have talked about that they don't want to bring kids because they don't know where the world's going to, because things are just happening so fast with technology.
Mhm.
And I think some people are just kind of scared to bring kids into the world how it is today.
Okay, that's fair. I think that's very fair. I actually had a friend growing up who told me, I remember this, we were in middle school, and she said, I absolutely don't want to bring kids into this world. She was in middle school and made this deciding factor
Yeah.
that, and she never had kids. She never had kids, never wanted them, never wanted anything to do with it, because she said, like, why would I bring children into a world that's built the way it is? Like, I'm scared to be here. It's ridiculous. So that's fair. Michael?
You hear me?
Absolutely.
Okay. My opinion on this is there's kind of two or three main factors. Number one, a lot of young people and that are growing up with, I call it severe attachment issues. So they grow up with negative concepts of love based on their upbringing with their parents, to the point where they're avoiding relationships based on, the feeling that they're defective or the feeling that they cannot find a trusting partner. And a point where a lot of them are either then delaying the age of which they get into long-term relationships, so on, that they're naturally not going to have the time period to have so many kids, or they just less people want them altogether. It's one big factor. And the second one, I'll say, like most people, economically, the big issue is there's a collapse in, I will call it, like real wages from the working class going on to keep our modern financial Ponzi scheme afloat. And as a result, people don't really want to get into that point till they feel as financially secure. And so they're delaying it naturally because of that. And there's a big rush to try to get these birth rates up because we're flipping society in terms of the amount of people that are going to be leaving the workforce through the retirement crisis and people just failing to launch and all that, to the point where there's a need for young bodies entering the workforce in very specific critical roles. And trying to get that match is at a time crisis because our money printing is going parabolic right now.
Okay. All right. Let's go with definitely not.
Hello. Yeah, I am thinking it's mostly a cultural issue. I think I do agree with some people here that say it's cultural. A lot of people are feeling really hopeless, especially the housing situation. I know people say, well, it's poor people are having more kids than rich people, but I think I'm not sure what that's exactly about. But I know a lot of people, even people that are in like middle and upper middle class, they still can get a house. And a lot of people think, well, I'm gonna get a house and then I'm gonna have kids. There's like this whole like married, get a house, and the house part is missing, and the marriage part is missing too, which is another cultural issue. So I think basically everything is downstream from culture, and all the pieces are falling apart. So the kids being kind of the middle to last step in the process of general like people doing life seems to be the things that are prerequisites are missing, basically, or falling apart, or people feel like they are whether they are or not.
Do we view, maybe because we view like life steps in and we're constantly shifting those priorities around based on culture and society and what we deem is the most important. Like I remember, like you will go to college, then you will get married, then you will have babies, so on and so forth. So that's kind of what you're saying. Like our steps are in that order.
Partially. Also, like a general hopelessness. I know a lot of people are like terrified of climate change, and they're like, "Oh, if I bring kids into this world, it's all gonna fall apart." People like legit go to they go to therapists, and they're like, "Oh my God, the climate change is gonna get me," and they're just so scared. And if you're that scared it's gonna get you, I can understand why they're afraid to bring kids into the world. Like they're afraid it's coming after them and their family. Like why bother at that point if we're all gonna die? So. There's
zombie apocalypse is coming. I'm telling you.
Yeah,
fair enough.
2012.
Marte, you making grimaces over there. What's that face, honey? What's that face? You're muted, by the way. You're muted.
You're gonna have to
coming in here all hot and tempered.
I have 3 people I need to address now. So bye.
Well, let's start with your initial thoughts first.
These are a part of my initial thoughts. Like I now have to address. I have to be. Let's be honest here. So vibes, I agree with you to some extent, but there's a 30-year lag that happens before we see debt. The problem with your analysis is, I'll give you a hypothetical. Are we going to wait till savings run out before we figure out how to pay next month's rent? In a sense, like we have to plan for the future. And now to Weevil's point, I'm going to address this. You kind of contradict yourself. You say, I don't see a change happening, but the reason why this change is happening, so there's a change that's happening. I understand what Michael's talking about now to his point. Like to some degree, I hear what you're saying, but it doesn't really make sense. I've never heard anybody in the street say because of climate change, I don't want to have a baby. I think it's an extremely scarce thing to even hear. Now to my point, really, I want to talk about, just to funnel everything in here, I don't think it's a monetary issue as much as people say it is. Poor people are outbirthing everybody else. So when you go up to the 30-year mark and everybody else, they're having less babies because they're putting off having families for careers. So when you're talking about Day and my Uncle Junebug having babies, baby mama culture is reproducing at a faster rate. So in a sense, what I'm saying, just to tie everything in, stupid people are outbreeding smart, wealthier people. And that's what's happening right now. I mean, if we don't start if we don't keep prohibiting people having birth and having this doomer culture of saying I can't have baby because of money, which is an excuse, I've already proven that. I think we're going to see a population before we decline of stupid people. Go ahead, Caucasian Sasquatch.
Before you go, Sasquatch, according to the chat, it looks like there's a Jake Rattlesnake raid that just came in. A shout out to you, you little thunder from down under, you and your accent. Thank you so kindly for the raid. I appreciate it. I would love for Jake to come on too if he has some thoughts on this, if he's still watching.
Sarah, one thing real quick. Can you guys hit the like button? Also, Avarice, thanks for becoming a channel member. All right, that's it.
Fair enough. All right, Sasquatch, what you got for us, boo?
Well, I think all of you are right. Every bit of this has a drop in the bucket, but the bucket itself is a worldwide concept. Is it not possible that we could attach this directly to a couple of events that's taken place in the past 30 years?
Yes, let's do it.
Specifically, Monsanto. Never before has the world sourced most of its food from a single supplier.
Who?
Monsanto. They source 90 some odd % of the seeds on Earth. They do the GMOs, they do all the Roundup ready stuff that you find. And this is the stuff that you're eating, that your children are eating, that they're going to grow up eating because they've essentially cornered the market on the food. You want one thing that's going to affect birth rate across the globe, food will do it.
That would make sense, like affecting our bodies and messing with our hormones and I know that more people are having issues getting pregnant and so on and so forth. We see a lot more IVFs, such like that. Quick grift break. Teguch comes in with a big 10, says for the grift, not one step back. I'm not your buddy, says take my money. Yes, sir. Thank you. I will. It looks better in my hands. And Free sends the big 10 and says not one step back. Thank you so kindly. All right, Corinth, what you got for us?
If we look at cases of what kind of births have been going down over time, we see them in industrialized societies like America, Japan, Korea, China, and Europe, most of Western Europe, things like this. If we look at what those kinds of births are going down, are births within marriages to married couples, we see a similar amount of like single parent births, this kind of thing. So we need to see why, and then we also see people are getting married a lot less. This seems to be the case that we have a very strong correlation between people getting married less and less married kids, or kids under married couples. If you look at why people be getting married less, we can see like an easy class issue. It's a shitty deal for women right now because they both have the economic pressure of you have to work full time because you need the dual income house to be able to afford that middle America life that everyone's idealizing, as well as the strict gender roles of you also have to accomplish every homemaker task simultaneously. When we look at cases of in places like Korea with the 4B movement, this is the highest pressure that they point to. Not only do we have all the economic stresses of we need to be working full time, we have all these expectations of us there, but we're also needing to be doing everything a traditional woman would be doing. And men aren't living up to, well, if we're not the sole provider, you know what, we might need to be helping around the house a little bit more. We might need to be splitting that housework instead. Or if we're going to be not splitting the housework, we need to be doing a lot more of the economic providing.
Okay. All right. Shots fired. We lost David. All right. I'll leave it open. Marte, I know you want to dive in on something. Go for it.
But I mean, before Marte dives in, since Marte
sure.
addressed me first,
Oh, yeah. Go ahead.
I wouldn't mind responding. And I don't mean to like be rude here.
Yeah, sure thing. Go ahead.
Be
against the
rude,
host
vibe.
here.
Be very rude. Do it.
So, and I like Marte. Marte and I get along.
Ned Flanders is not going to be rude. Let's be real here. Go ahead, Vibe.
But yeah, so my point being is that I wanted to throw a wrench in this is that everybody's like complaining about this birth decline, and I'm saying it's not. Marte's response to that was, "Hey, good finances. You don't wait till you're broke until you fix the problem before you get broke." Right? I actually agree with that 100%. I just did want to start this off since you gave it to me, Sarah, that we are not in a decline, but we are going to go in a decline, and it's going to happen. And there are some serious problems. And I think most of the panel pretty much addressed it really good. overall, right? I mean, I'm a Christian. I can jump up here first and say, well, maybe Christianity can fix all this. Well, I think Christianity might fix 20% of it, but we do have an economical problem here. We do have a housing shortage. It's harder for people to jump into homes and feel stable. We have a woman empowerment problem and feminism that says women should work and then they should have kids, and then they're in, going to the doctors trying to have one kid. There's an imbalance in so many different directions. The social shifts delayed. I mean, everybody's going to college now. There's just a lot of problems there. But I just wanted to address Marte and saying that even though I'm claiming it's not, and it's not, by the way, declining, I do know it's going to decline, and we do need to start fixing it today. So I do back you on that. And I think I back the whole panel. I think we all know it. So ultimately on this panel, I'm looking for a prescription. How are we going to solve this? Can this panel solve this tonight?
Yes, we're going to solve world hunger and the birth rate all at once.
Why not? Why not? Why not? Maybe we can do it.
I have high hopes. We've done a lot of great work here on the Tomato Show. We've
I've
mended
been trying to set up an
relationships.
all-girls mixed race soccer team for years. I just can't find enough takers for mothers.
No income tax for mothers. How's that? Or families where mothers
That's
exist.
Or
pointless
actual
because,
maternity leave for all the jobs that women want to go into.
but if she's a stay-at-home mom, what incentive does she have to have
Yeah,
more
like
babies
family
if
is
there's
not-
no income tax on her? She's not working. It doesn't matter. Like,
Family.
Hey,
What's the
thanks for
children income tax? That's where the children income tax comes in, which we already receive.
Well, I meant
the
like just no
EIC.
income tax for the whole family. Just no, zero. You don't pay anything. That'd be
Ooh.
nice.
Hungary implemented something to this degree where they started giving decreases on the taxation you get based on the amount of kids, and we didn't see a meaningful impact because their issue is you need to be getting them to have kids in the first case for them to feel this. But the prior decisions they make to having kids, like going and getting married and getting settled down that long-term family, still need to happen first, and
Yeah,
that
still
is
helps.
a very huge hedge.
Yeah. I think the traditional norm has kind of gone out the window quite a bit.
I'd like to address Corinth right now directly. So Corinth, you were talking about some stuff that really had no idea. I mean, I really have no idea how this is a correlate. Talking about doing chores is just stopping the birth. Like, that's what it amounts to. So this is the thing that I'm going to say, right? We have these arguments surrounding we have these arguments around the topic to say, well, he's not fulfilling these gender roles and things like. We're in the most egalitarian society we've ever had, where it's like we're pushing for this more and more. Men's expectations haven't changed that much. Well, women's has been blown up through the ceiling and roof and stratosphere all the time. So I think you're completely wrong about this. So if we're talking about this, that's a complete diversion away from, oh, he didn't sweep, so I'm not gonna, produce a baby with him. Like, this is what your argument boils down to. But here's the thing, though.
That's how my argument boils down to.
Let's at least be
entirely
more
reductive.
Well, hold on. I'm just saying, can we be more concise about this and go back to like real rational reasons why we're not having kids? Like, women are being pushed into the workforce. I get it. We're more equal than ever. But here's the thing, though. What Sasquatch was talking about, what Vibe and everybody else is talking about, birth control has affected this substantially. The AB rates of deleting kids has increased substantially. I think that if we can begin a campaign where we're incentivizing people to have kids, I think that's a start at some sort of solution more often than not.
I agree.
I
If we can get
wasn't
people
sure
to
if
have
it was
kids, it would solve the
that one.
issue of us having kids. That's going to be trivial. The issue is, how do we get people to have kids? Well, one of the things that we see very heavily is we're not seeing kids go down in all cases. We're largely seeing it go down in cases of two-parent married households. And we see this in a very tight correlation with the amount of people that are getting married. Now, this seems to almost be like trivial to most people. Well, if we have less people getting married, we're going to have less people that are married having kids together. Now, if we see this, why are people not getting married? Well, it seems like for women, if you have the choice of, well, I can have all my girlfriends out there, we can all be girl boss babes and do all that stuff. And then I only have to clean up after myself. We're doing all this stuff. That's better than if I'm having to do all of this and I'm going to clean up after another guy because he wants to both posture as having a trad wife at home while not fulfilling the trad masculine duties of being the sole provider and being able to do all of these things. if we see this as a shitty deal for women because we're only adding to their burden while expecting them to fulfill all the same roles they would otherwise have to do, we'd seem to say, well, we might want to make that a better deal for these people who seem to be largely as well opting out of marriage here.
Well, this is circular because how are we not adding to men's burden when women are initiating all these divorces? But you see how circular this argument's going to get to right
Where's
now.
the circularity of it?
Well, here's the thing though. If you want to blame women, I could blame.
So where's the circularity of it?
Women. This is all it's going to amount to. It's just a blame game. When really, let's be solution orientated and get back to this. What I'm talking about is, a matter of fact, let me be solution orientated and offer a solution. Let's build propaganda around incentivizing people to get married. And matter of fact, Vibes, I'll even ask you a question right now in front of Corinth. I'm against marriage and I'm a Christian, but you know what I'm for? A covenant. You agree with me, and I know this. So here's the thing. If we promote this, the bastardization of marriage through the state being involved, that's creating this disruption, because what's happening is it's being weaponized right now in culture. That's creating such an abolishment of this whole predicament that we're having. It's just really bad. So,
but one thing Corinth did say that's really important is he touched base on the culture of having family nearby, a tribe, right? So one of the biggest things and the biggest failures of actually families growing is not having that tribe anymore. So the reason the poor nations they're actually supplementing the lack of the rich nations reproduction rate right now. The poor nations are reproducing better, and I think you said it, Marte. Like, why are poor people reproducing better? So it can't be economic. It's because they actually are part of a tribe where their neighbors and the family and everybody is actually supporting bringing those children up. We are lacking that tribal nature of having that tribe. Part of Christianity actually is having a tribe of your own. We actually do that thing. That's why I think that in Christianity we have that ability. I would say that would be the number one piece of why the birth rate is declining. Now, marriage comes in there, economics comes in there, social economic pressures come in there, women empowerment comes in there. I mean, there's a lot of it's a really big macro issue. So I can't just say it's tribalism, but I think a little bit of having that family unity is a really good first step.
It is.
Women's empowerment seems to be one of the things that is a throughput of several of these different facets. What I mean is, when it comes down to a household, a woman chooses the food that they serve, assuming it's a traditional marriage, right? Just an assumption. But if it's not a traditional marriage, then you have all these other features that come in. Women in the workplace, they're spending more time apart from their family. If they're not married and they get pregnant, they're more likely to delete than they are if they are married. All of this stuff ties together to bring down our birth rate as opposed to, say, some country in Africa. This is all technology, and it's all availability, and it's all just the ability to make the choice at its source rather than having to put up with a little crotch goblin running around that you didn't want from that guy that you hated so much after you got to know him, right?
And it's weird because I'm a man, right? So I can't really speak to a woman's mind. I have a wife, and I only have one wife. I've only ever had one wife. So I try to understand that mind all the time. And my wife actually tells me, she says, I'd rather be raising the family, but I also like to be important and I like to work. But if you ever make it so that I have to work, I'm going to be really pissed at you. I want to be able to work, but I want the ability. I want that freedom to work, and I want you to allow me to. But if I have to take care of the family first, I want that ability too, and I don't want to be the one that has to work. Right now, I say this, which is kind of in jest, but I live in California, in one of the most expensive counties in the world, and it is. Almost every couple I know, both of them have to work. They both have to work. And we've gone into this society, and I don't even think it's Southern California, where if you want to have the lifestyle that sending the kids to sports and doing all these things and all these extracurricular activities, both parents have to work. And now we're starting to I don't want to have more than one kid because one kid's too expensive, and both parents have to work, and both parents want to be with the kids, and we're suffering. So there is an economical issue in the growth, and I see that as a big problem.
I could see
Well,
that being ideal too. Just being able to take care of your family, but also not having to work. But if you want to, you can. So you're not feeling like somebody else owns you or whatever. Like having like little side projects or like a part-time job or something like that. That could totally work.
well, it's important, I think, for men and women to still have, like, not to say that having children is not some great purpose. I believe it is, right? But it's a purpose for both parents. But women's like self identity becomes very fragile when you get married. I went through these moments myself, and I had to kind of figure it out real quick. Where you take on his name, now he's working, you don't have anything like that's yours, like you're just an extension of him. That's not bad, but for the individual it can be kind of a mind fuck for you, like, wait a minute, who the hell am I? Because you're getting pulled in all sorts of different directions for children, you're helping your husband, like you're doing all of these things for everybody else, but then never do you like sit and think like, well, what is there for me purpose wise as an individual, right?
But
And again,
Sarah,
I'm not negating the idea of being a mother or being a wife, right? But those two things are tied to other people, whereas there's still an individual piece built in there where, like me, I need constant mind stimulation. This is why, like, I was really big on just going to school forever. I was like the forever student, just constantly learning because I needed something for my mind to keep going. And that was like a purpose for me, right? Even if it's picking up a side hobby of doing art, right? I'm not even saying women have to have a job, but having something that's just mine that nobody else can touch, right? And Vibe, I think you wanted to kick in on that.
Yeah, no, I was just going to ask a question. I mean, wouldn't you say, and once again, like, I'm speaking from a man, so I can never speak from a woman's point of view. But at one time in history, it seemed like there was women that were proud to be the woman that made this man. They're like, look at what I produced, look what I took care of, look what I did. And in society actually would reward her and actually think that's good. In today's society, if that woman is in the background doing that and the man does do good and he provides, they're a bit shamed. Like today, women are shamed for being mothers. They're shamed for not going to work. They're shamed for all these things, which I think are good things. And once again, like I say, I'm speaking from a man's point of view. So I just feel like society has shifted that being a good mother, and like the mother that I grew up with, who was there for me every day, picked me up when I fell and like skinned my knee. Those mothers don't exist anymore, but they're shamed if they are here in today's society. Maybe even called gold diggers sometimes.
Well, I feel like there's no winning point here. Like I feel like there's shame no matter, like I'm a mom and I get shamed for being a single mom, right? And it's like, fuck, like I didn't have the abortion. I did what I was supposed to do. I did what like was the right thing according to what my father said and what like our church believes and all of, like I did that part, right? I carried the weight and took accountability for my actions, and yet I'm still being shamed for being some shitty person because the dad didn't want to do his part. And it's like, what the fuck do you want me to do with that? Right. So like it's you're gonna hit women, I feel like kind of are gonna hit a wall, pun intended, in no matter which direction they choose, because and that's why I think that comes down to that point where women need that identity, like because the society's apparently going to shame you no matter what you're doing. So like at least I'm going to have my little own bubble and I'm going to have my place, and I'm going to be the best mom I can be, and I'm going to be the best wife that I can be, but I'm also going to be the best me I can be, right? Whether that it's a hobby, right? Like I said, you could have hobbies, or you are you babysit part-time, or you're a tutor, or you're part-time worker at the local school, like for kindergarten. I used to do that when I had my son. Like I'd go up to the kindergarten and help cut stuff for the teacher, right? It was just something to do, right? But I think that's where the society's like all confused on what a like mother is, and I feel like we're getting knocked around 6 ways to Sunday, and it just doesn't matter what we do. And let me read these super chats and then you guys can attack it, Will. I'm Not Your Buddy says, I blame the birth rate crisis on feminism. I could be wrong, but 30% of an entire generation was aborted. Societies of the past could call it a genocide or even mass child sacrifice. I am agreeable to that. I think
Because
that abortion
That
is
number is way overestimated.
because I know why. Because people nowadays, what the women view it, some of them, like the secular women, they view it as a transaction, more like a marriage, not like a true, meaningful relationship between a person.
okay. And then Free says women are hypergamous. Feminism boosts them to be men, and women's mental health is on tremendous decline. Surely it's that men don't do chores, not that their telos is being subverted.
That was my point.
Hypergamy is good, though. I think hypergamy is good. I don't think there's anything wrong with pergamy. If all of you had daughters, I'd imagine you'd want your daughter to be hypergamous and reach for the bigger, better deal and be resourceful and not just settle for Joe Schmo who's in the mama's basement, right? I think hypergamy is a net positive for all. And I don't know why we shame hypergamy. It doesn't make any sense to me because it's like women and I'll explain it. Like if men are the stronger providers, protectors, and all those things, and women are deemed as the weaker version of society, right? It actually makes more sense why we are more resourceful to be like seek the biggest, strongest, wealthiest man to attach ourselves to, right? Like that actually makes sense. Why would I go for the lesser than if I can try to move up the ladder and find the bigger, better deal and marry that?
Well,
And
you know,
I
That's
don't
also true, but it's
that-
also a kind of reductive
Same
view of
also.
hypergamy where we're only saying hypergamous in regards to one specific trait. When in reality, men are also hypergamous insofar as they want the more beautiful women. You'll see a bunch of average guys who are dating out of their league in this idea. They want someone who's a phenomenal mother, a more nurturing person, all of these things that we would also say these are women that are better than these men in these traits and would therefore be hypergamous in this sense as well. We say hypergamy in this case, you're just specifically focusing on the class idea of it. And we're saying women are hypergamous. They are because in the traditional sense, because they don't have jobs, they're not the sole providers, and men are the ones being the sole providers there. When we're moving out of this class, we can no longer use the old method of analysis because it's no longer apt to the world we're looking at.
Mm-hmm. Somebody else was talking to add into
I
was
wanted
gonna-
to mention something earlier when you were talking about like identity and being a mother and how that transitions. One issue that I see also, especially in America, is our culture basically kicks people out at 18. That's a very common thing to do. So for a woman, if you're out at 18, you basically have to have a job. If you can't stay with your parents, live with your parents, you have to have a job, and then you have to start building this career. And unless you get married like right then and there, which is probably very unhealthy at 18, but you have to start building this thing, and then suddenly we have to like, snap back and switch. Oh, well, now I have to be the stay-at-home mom all of a sudden. So what was I doing all this for? Like this whole building a career this whole time, that's just what, like throwaway time? So it's also kind of confusing
I have
for
to
people.
push
I think.
back a little bit on that. Maybe I'm just ignorant on this, but I don't think most parents are kicking their daughters out at 18. I think they're encouraging them to go to college, which in a part is a problem too. But I'm not going to kick my daughter out at 18. I'm going to let her stay here as long as she wants, and I'm going to encourage her to find her own way. But are you really saying that the majority of parents are kicking their kids out at 18?
I don't know the exact statistics. I haven't looked it up, but I guess you could say this is probably anecdotal. I just assumed because that was my experience and a lot of people I know's experience that it was common, but I could probably look it up to be specific.
But why is it not healthy to get married at 18?
Well, you're basically a child still.
Uh,
What, 18 years old, you go to high school still. Like,
Do you want an 18-year-old to vote?
I pulled the statistics. It says with the Bureau of Labor
I don't.
Statistics says about 33% of 18-year-olds moved out in 2014. Current data and anecdotal evidence suggests that trend has shifted with fewer 18-year-olds leaving the parental home and an increased number of young adults staying longer due to economic factors like cost of living. So maybe more are actually shifting to. I don't feel like people are kicking their kids out of the home. Maybe young men would be. I've heard that more. Like young men are kind of like leaving the nest at 18. But
Baby mama walked out on her kids when the youngest one turned 18. She just got up the day after his birthday and left and ran off to another town. Left the kids there with her ex-husband, which is now an ex-husband. Just
Yeah.
Yeah, I could have been wrong. I was just comparing to, I know other cultures like Eastern Europe where I'm from, it's basically unheard of. Like the kids live with their parents until they're married. You don't really, like going out on your own is kind of.
Well,
like,
I think
it's just different, I guess.
I would say like our society probably pushes the narrative to move out. You know, you like you go to college and then after college you should be on your own, right? Like we kind of have this concept where by the time you graduate college, like you go get an apartment and you start your job and now you're a free bird, right? Whereas like you said, the European culture and so like we see more in like European cultures, I would say that families are nested more and stay together, you know, even at the very least in the same town. I feel like here in America, we're individual based and we're not, unless you live in a small town, that's where I do find people nest a little more, but we're more individual based, like you're free, go get as far away as you can and go live your life and find your journey or whatever.
Even going to college, though, that was basically assumed when I was growing up and I went to high school. Like all throughout, basically starting from middle school, all throughout the end of high school, it's like you're going to college. You're going to college. It was just assumed. Like there was no option not to. It was just like assumed everybody was going to go. There was no like, oh well, maybe you should focus on the family route. Maybe you should take like a technical thing for a while. No, it's like you're going to college. Everybody's doing it. You got to do it too.
Wait, was that your experience, or is that what is that?
I like going to college is everybody's experience
There's some really confidence, everybody.
But the thing is, you said that it's not good, healthy for a person at 18 to get married, but they could actually start at OnlyFans, and that's healthy. Do you think it's healthy?
That's not healthy.
No.
For an 18-year-old to get married?
Yeah,
and
no,
that's
18-year-old starting OnlyFans.
Healthy.
Not healthy, but the thing is,
I don't even think bring it back to the voting.
It's a false
18-year-old vote. I think everything should be at 21. If you can't drink until you're 21, you shouldn't be able to vote until you're 21 as well.
What about joining the military?
I don't think anyone can start an OnlyFans.
Military. You can
join the military.
I don't think it matters how old you are.
It's not a duty.
Hold on, stop. You're all talking and you all know my rule. Thumping Weevil, what about the military? You said if they can't vote, they shouldn't vote until they're 21.
Then yeah, because I feel like if you join the military at 18 and you're going off to deployments, you could have 2 deployments by the time you're 21. You should be able to sit down and have a beer before 21 if you're in the military. So if they want to change it to 21, then that'd be great. But it's not going to happen.
Okay. Lord of Nerds says, at a glance, if we need a rate of 14 to 16 births per 1,000 women, as it stands, we are at the 11.9 per 1,000, and there are 14.4 abortions per 1,000 women. Who is making all of that noise?
That's Ramirez.
Ramirez.
Hold on.
I'm gonna mute you. You unfuck yourself. Okay, so for every like one we're having, we're knocking out one. I see what they're saying there. And then, of course, Corinth got put in the back. Okay, go ahead.
You ruined everything.
Well, you guys were all talking over each other, and you know, if you start talking.
I think propaganda is a good way to go. I think materialism and selfishness have overridden our culture to such a high degree. What Bob's Burgers was saying, since he lives in California, is you don't have to live in such an expensive place. We can move back east to the Midwest and have more affordable housing, better, cost of living, things like this. So a lot of this is just choice generally. So I think a lot of this has to do with like the propaganda that we've been brainwashed to just think, oh, I just need this career before a family. So when you bring up things like, what do you call it? The thing when we're having in vitro, right? In vitro, the main reason why people are having this is to stave off having a baby. And they're having this as like a second chance. Even the owner or creator of in vitro came out and said, this is a failed project. It doesn't work. So I think that right now, propaganda in incentivizing families and incentivizing nuclear families is a way to go. Now, finding a solution and how to do this, I think that's where we need to go. I think that's one good path.
Wait, what do you mean IVF doesn't work? What does that mean?
So if you talk to the person who came out and created this, I guess, I don't know if she's the inventor, creator, whatever this is, she staunchly came out against this practice and said it doesn't really work for the most part. There's a lot of defects that happen because of this, and it's highly problematic. It's not as solution oriented as we thought this was, meaning like healthy births, and it's a great option for women to have down the road. It is.
You know why the birth defects take place in vitro fertilization? It's because it's not a natural process, and you end up, humans pick the eggs, and because humans don't have the gizzards in there that know what work, you get bad eggs, you get bad sperm, you have a more likely chance of having a less desirable outcome. But the process is functional and will give you children. You just have to be careful. You have to have a reputable source. All of that stuff has to work out well. And if it don't, you end up with 17 kids.
But you see how my point even more.
The mindset.
Right.
The mindset, right? The mindset, like I'm Gen X. I started going to school in the 70s. And when I was going in the 70s, feminism was running wild. And the girls I was sitting next to and the teachers that I was sitting in front of all told us that me and the girl next to us were 100% equal, which I believed. And the girl believed. And we grew up, and I was high-fiving. And I've told this on Sarah's channel before, where we were high-fiving each other through our careers. Like, damn, girl, you're doing good. I'm like, she's like, damn, boy, you're doing good. And we were just really proud of this. All these females later in life, when they actually finally found their husband at like 38, all decided they wanted to have a kid. And they all spent like $50,000 to $100,000 trying to have that kid at that late age. We were all brainwashed, the boys and the girls, in the sense that the girls were they were taught that they were equal, and they were equal. They were able to get those jobs, but society ignored the fact that they were going to lose their fertility years, and nobody told the girls that in their young years, right? And I mean, all those same girls, they all had at least one kid. I think one wasn't able to do it, but they all wanted more kids, but they started too late, and nobody told they misguided them in the beginning, saying maybe you should have the family first, then do your career second. And I think that was a really big problem. And I think they brainwashed my whole generation growing up, because I was there supporting them as well, not telling them that, oh, by the way, your career is going to take away from you being able to produce a family.
I'm looking at in the year 1950 in the United States, the average age of a mother at the first birth was 24.5 years old. And the average age of a mother for all births was 28.6 years. So what is this like knocking boots at 18 and having babies at 18?
Well, I wasn't saying kids should have.
No, but what I'm saying is that's still enough time for a woman to go like 24.5 in 1950. And that's what a lot of people like revert back to in their conversations. Like 1950, that not only did she get to go to college, but she got to start some point of her career, right? You finish college, what, 21, 22-ish? Depending on what you're...
Well, yeah, but when you finish college, what they do is they go right into the workforce. They don't then have to start a family, right?
Well, what I'm saying is that age, that age of 24 would be the same as if I went to college, met my husband in college, and a year later after we graduated, we got married.
And I would actually say, I mean, there are a lot of scenarios where that actually happens, and the woman then stops her career to have the kids while the husband continues his career. When they get to a certain point, she resumes her career, right? But the other thing that actually happens outside that 24 mark is the woman doesn't find the man or does find the man. They both decide to move their careers forward, And then they find the time in her career where she feels like, okay, I can take a pause in my career at 32, right? When we get to 32, it's still very viable to have kids. I mean, you can have them all the way to the 40s, but it becomes a geriatric pregnancy, even at 32, which is young, but that means every year after 32, the exponential chance for something going wrong with that birth, I mean, it exponentially grows each year. So from 32 to 33 to 34, you have higher chances of autism, Down syndrome, all these different things. I don't ever want that to happen, right? You're more viable at 24. And this isn't saying that women should be home just breeding babies and not go to school and get educated. Because I know a lot of women, when they hear men say this stuff, they feel like men are saying women are worth nothing. They should just be home baby makers. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying the biology of the reality of the world is that this, like, before 30 is the time to be doing it. And I still think women can be lawyers, and I still think they're great at doing tons of things. I think they're better mothers than I am as a mother. You know, I have 3 kids. I love trying to mother them, but when I see my mother, or when I see my wife mother them, she definitely mothers them better than I mother them. So it's a hard thing to say when we're like, women, we want you to be home and making kids, but it's not that we disvalue you. We actually have a lot of value for you. This is just the biological facts.
It's funny. I thought you were talking about being a mother there, Vibe, saying I'm a mother, and when I'm a mother, but thanks for clearing that up for me.
You know, I understand the concept behind. I fully agree. Like, look, I had my first kid. I was 21 when I got pregnant, 22 when I popped out. Like, and I think I was 26 with my second one. Like, and I have a very high appreciation for being young, pushing out babies. Right? Like, if you asked me to give birth at this age, I'd be like, oh hell no, like no, like I can't even like sit at a desk without being like, oh, my back. I couldn't imagine trying to carry a baby around and push one out. Absolutely not. I commend the idea of you know, making babies young. I'm all for it. I'm all for high school sweethearts, get married, make babies, and go forth together, right?
Yeah, you can always go back to college later in life. Like, even my husband had our 3rd kid, and he is 36 years old, and he's going to technical college. I'm stay at home, but if I wanted to work, I can go back and work with my dad as a carpentry. I can go back anytime he needs me, you know, and I like having that option. Just like that makes me feel like as an individual as well, that I feel like myself, because I'm still doing what I want to do, and I can work when and if I want to.
Yeah, I mean, even I, you know, had my daughter and still went to school and got married and had my son and was still going to school. Like, I was going the slow. It took me 11 years to finish my master's, but I did it, right? It was a very slow way of doing it, but I still did it, and I was okay with that. But I think that Vibe, you had mentioned that you said, well, women think that men are just saying that they should just be at home and just do this and, you know, blah, blah, blah. But that's how it's said to us, right? Not like you're not saying that, but, you know, you could scroll any feed right now and you'll run into that, what I would consider to be like the red pill rhetoric or the manosphere stuff that they say. And it's like, women should be at home making sandwiches and having babies, you know, and it's like, ooh. Like, they don't value the idea that she's a mother and she's the person who's going to raise their children, and that he respects the fact that she's, you know, like, we're not being pedestalized as mothers by even our own men, right? And like, they are devaluing us by saying like, it's not that hard to be a stay-at-home mom. It's not that hard. Like, how hard is it to do this and clean up and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, okay, then you know what? Like, maybe men should just be stay-at-home dads and let the women work. Like, why don't we just switch? Are we okay with that?
I think we should be okay with that.
I don't get it.
No, I think that's a bad idea. Resentment across the board that we don't want.
Okay. Well, I don't care what Marte wants. I think it is good for like men and women to normalize the idea that some men can be stay-at-home dads and some women don't want to be stay-at-home moms. I think that's perfectly reasonable. I think that like asserting these gender norms is really unnecessary. I don't know why people like Marte and all these cringe losers online like are so obsessed with like demanding that everyone can like confined to their particular gender values. Like fuck you. Your values suck. No one wants a part of them. The people who do want a part of them are perfectly allowed to engage with them. So like get over it, loser.
Right? Scarce minority, some. Pay attention to the language he's sneaking in there because it's not a good prescription. I can offer prescription with a minority and say, oh, because 3 people did this in a room, it's great for everybody to do. No, that's horrible. Don't.
Yeah, but we're not talking about 3 people in Rome, Marte. We're talking about millions of people in America right now. Okay, nice Copeland, nice try.
Millions is not some. At least your verbiage can be corrected, at least by me. So here's the thing. Going back to this, if we're going to offer prescription, Ryan, if you're going to offer prescription that everybody wants, you're not going to create a room full of men that women resent by saying stay at home. These aren't men that women want. These the men that stay at home.
You're just wrong. There are plenty of women who want stay at home dads. Sorry, dude. So I know that might make you uncomfortable. There just are women who want this thing. I know that's a scary thought. I know the world's changing and you're old and it's super weird, but get over it, dude. Sorry.
That's not hypergamy.
My dad's a retired policeman.
A woman, not a provider, not anything. That's anti-hypergamous. Are you okay with that?
Well, what I'm okay with, I'm okay with members and money. Thank you to Free for becoming a YouTube member and sharing the gift that keeps on giving. Shout out to all of you lucky lottery winners. And of course, Kissy Cat says, oh, hi there. Hello.
What happens when the breadwinner gets pregnant?
And Harry Ludwig sending the big
on
5 just to say, hey, Sarah. And Ryan, you got 10 in the back. And let me just say, I've been dropping it in the chat, but backstage, I've got Helna, Evan Lord, Eli Nix, Corinth, and Casting Shadows waiting patiently. And actually, Helna is coming up now that Coper just got.
Coper.
And I'm going to open up my spot because my wife is in Vegas right now. I just took her to the airport this morning. So I'm taking care of the kids today. I am Mr. Mom. I am taking the mom role. So I'm taking the kids to Dave & Buster's. So I have to bow out here. So I'll open up my spot. I would love to continue.
I have words.
Thank you so much, Sarah, for having me.
Continue.
Absolutely.
Love everybody on the panel. Thank you, guys.
It was fun.
Sarah, bring Ryan back. He's got really horrible takes and easy to debunk.
It was fun, Vibe.
Pay $10. Bring it back up. Boot someone else.
I know that.
What's up, everybody?
Shadow Master, the backstage has a spot open now. You can jump back there and I'll put you up.
What's up, Marte? I got something to say about these bullshit. I have something to say about these bullshit gender norms type shits. Dude, I believe in gender norm when it comes to parental family units. My father is now a retired policeman. My mother had to take care of 5 children, and our unit would have been just totally collapsed if my mom had a career with my father at the same time.
Thank you.
Would have collapsed.
Hey, listen. Can I just dispel a lot of bullshit narratives that I be hearing?
Who's talking?
How are you
oh hell no. That's oh hell no.
Okay.
I would like to dispel a lot of bullshit narratives that I be hearing, right? Because
go for it.
As a man, I've been out here raising a daughter, full time, single father. I retired at 27. You get what I'm saying? I retired myself. Now, my daughter is well educated. You know what I'm saying? Like, she 9 in the 4, about to be 5th grade. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I've been doing this on my own. I got hella felonies. I can't get shit from nobody. Not even a fucking emergency food stamp. And I ain't looking for one neither. But it's not hard being a fucking single father, yo. Like, now, mothers, I'm assuming, like, y'all, and I'm knowing that y'all get a lot of fucking help automatically. You can walk down there and just lie and put anybody on the paper and get some fucking help. So for us who can't get no fucking help, This if we making it easy, ain't no way in hell it's hard for y'all. And that's just what it is. And I got full custody. I ain't got no fucking partial custody, no piece bit. I got 100% around the board. And I've been had it since she was 6 months. Oh, she 10.
Why the mother's not there?
That ain't none of your business.
Yeah, we don't have to go that route. Well, tell me, hell no, though, aside from anecdotal experience, tell me how you can debunk everything that's being said.
That's what I want to hear too. Yeah.
Because a lot of people be pushing these narratives. Women is more nurturing. Women is more loving and kind and caring and all this. Although that's part of their natural traits, they don't even believe that shit. Because if you walk outside, these women don't even, it ain't no fucking women left. They exactly this, bitches and hoes, from my point of view.
Okay.
Unless you prove otherwise. Now, I give
You're
you the
looking
same
at
amount of rope as I give everybody else to hang your motherfucking self. Because I'm a man of very little words and big actions.
Hell no, none of this contends with the point and debunks anything, though. I mean, you're giving your end, which isn't a good prescription. It's survival mode. I mean, and we was Kang's talk. So that's the thing, though, is like we could espouse this all day, but that's the thing, though, is we're looking for solutions and not anecdotal evidence, meaning your story that not you would want everybody else to have.
I could give you.
Do you want me? You want everybody to have
solutions?
Mamas? That's not a good prescription.
I can give you solutions, but the women not gonna like it, and it's too late to put the toothpaste back in the proverbial tube.
My Uncle Day can have 6 baby moms at a barbecue, but that's not good advice either. So we're looking for prescriptions here. So something that actually debunks something.
Listen,
I know you finna tell me something right now, but I'm just listening for a solution.
Oh my God.
Listen.
Well, and American Nacho says, I got hella felonies type shit.
Type shit.
Thank you.
Go off,
and
Quinn.
just a kind reminder backstage. Sorry, we've got like some messes back here, but Evan is up next. Then I've got, Corinth. I'm sorry, Corinth is up next. Evan's after that. Eli's on stage, then Bloodworm, then Ryan, then Shade Master. That's my order back there, unless somebody boots and specifically throws someone up. Okay, go ahead.
I can give a prescription, but it's too late. Like, in order to do this, we'll have to take away the plan B. We'll have to take away the child sacrifice that they doing. The women not going for that. And then you got dudes out here who can't get no yams, who out here campaigning with the women for that. You got dudes out here be like, man, yo, girl, you can't go and murder my kid. She'll say, it's a fetus. What? If this was my granddaddy having this conversation, it wouldn't be no conversation.
Oh, hell no.
What you tell a chick with 2 black eyes? Nothing. You told her twice.
This is an example of why Ebonics is a form of birth control. I'm just going to let you know right now. So right now, I'm letting you know that I'm still not hearing prescription right now, and you haven't debunked anything. Look, I understand your plight and your survival mode that we've had, but I'm just asking you right now, do you have any recommendation for how we could solve the problem? Not, I was in survival mode.
Yeah, take away birth control. Take away birth control.
Finally something that I can at least apply to the conversation.
If you've been listening, I just
Besides,
told
we was
you
gangs
that.
at the barbecue with
I
Uncle
just
Day-Day.
literally told you that, but it's too late now because we'll have dudes out
literally
there
told
like
me.
you who will be campaigning for these chicks to have it, bro. If we say, yo, we want pure women, as we've been saying for the last 100 years, you would be one of the guys over there like, nah, man, it's your choice to go out here and hunch on 100 different dudes. Because
So
that's
I don't
what
know
you
what
look
a
like
hunch
up here.
Marte, are you
campaigning
able
for
to
now.
translate for us? Like, you seem
I
to
don't know
be
what a
having
hunt is or a hunted. So if you could tell me grammatically what a hunted is, right now we can get off somewhere. So here's the thing, though. When I say anecdotally, your personal experience that not everybody has, I'm pretty sure if I had a bunch of felonies, we could relate on and come together with some solution. But I can't do that. I'd have to talk to your probation officer to continue this conversation.
Take away birth control. There's one right there.
An abortion.
What
Take
can
away
you
abortion
do?
as well.
What can you do right now? If we said tomorrow we're taking away birth control without guys like you standing in line with the women to say, yo, it's all right, child sacrifice is a choice.
I'm not standing in your
Without
way. I'm
guys
just standing in your way to be able to
I
pronounce
gave
act
you a prescription.
ambulance right
Women
now.
work right now.
Hell no.
I gave
What
you a
about
prescription.
abortion? What about taking away abortion as well?
Listen, that's part of it, bro. I said that. Take away that. Take away. That's what I call child sacrifice, bro. Take away the child sacrifice. Take away the Plan B and the keep the Roe v. Wade overturned. But as we see, we'll have guys like this right here up here shaking his head, talking about, nah, it's a choice. They should be able to have a right. I gave you a prescription. Can you give me something to count?
You had a choice to have remedial education before you jumped on this panel right now. And now we need translators and shit. Right now,
Joel Dalton comes with a big five, says,
yeah, you need a panel going on right now.
contributing to the translator fund. American Nacho says, can someone translate? I don't speak Section 8. And Evan Lord says, Win Marte, he is fluent in African American
Molecular.
Thank you. Could you please translate into rural suburban American English because I can't comprehend him?
Seriously.
Can we take away abortion right now?
Hell no!
Yes
This
or
is
no?
the same kind
Impossible.
of argument that Fatty was
Exactly.
making.
That's my point, Daniel.
Yeah,
Right.
so this
Can we
is
take
Fatty
away
is saying.
Plan B right now?
yeah.
If man been band together and we said nope, you can't have it right now.
Listen, hell no!
'cause we
You
can't
can't
get 100%
legislate.
I'm just saying
Hold on, I want
it's
to tell you something.
impossible to remove abortion right now.
Listen, you're
Because
not
we
going to
have
legislate
men
morality,
siding with
dude.
the women. If we had 100% of men saying no, we're not doing this shit no more. It's not allowed to fly. They couldn't do it. But we'll have guys like Marte, like, yo, man, it's a choice. It's a right. It's cool. You could damn near do it. I gave you a prescription, bro. You asked me for a solution. I gave you
Grammatically
the
perfect
solution.
English.
Let's take
You
away
know, I don't
It's
talk like
the
that.
wrong choice.
This is a
Hell no.
Let's take away abortion.
mischaracterization on my grammar here. This is slander. I don't talk like that at all. Like, I actually had a remedial education.
You
So
asked me for a solution, brother. I gave you
No,
3
no.
of them. I
Hell
said,
no.
let's
I
take
asked-
away
hold on.
abortion. Let's take
Hell no,
away
hell no.
Plan B. Let's
I
take
understand
away
what you're saying.
these things.
I'm gonna
You
respond.
still ain't refuted none of it yet. Can
Hell
you
no.
refute this, yes or no, bro? Yes
I
or
asked
no?
you a
Just
question.
I can
You
refute
asked
it.
get straight to the meat and
question.
potatoes, bro. Can
Hold
you
on.
stop this
Hold
right
on.
now? Yes or no?
Can you pronounce the word ask for me? Can you just pronounce that? How about
Bro,
ambulance?
don't insult my intelligence, brother.
It's a
We should
very
have
it's a
mandatory
certain-
Can
abortion.
you refute anything that I said, brother? Yes or no?
I understand.
Can
word
we
you had
take
it out
away
right now.
abortion right now, bro?
We can do this, but it's going to be a process.
No, no, no,
I'm
no,
glad
no,
you're
no.
speaking
Right
with me
now, right now, if we said no, you're not having no more abortions in the United States starting tomorrow morning. Can we get it done? Yes or no?
This is hyperbole you're talking
No,
about,
no, no.
right?
It's not hyperbole. It's a legitimate question.
know what
Yes
Well,
or no?
would essentially women just either hold on? Would women essentially either just stop having sex altogether, or utilize birth control, or condoms, or all, like I feel like the men are gonna be.
Well, I want to hop in here real quick and just say I may agree with Hell No that we should have.
Pay a bunch of money to have an abortion done illegally. They're still going to be
Yeah.
illegally.
Well, look, here's the thing. I can agree that we should have laws against abortion from my worldview as a Christian. However, we don't legislate morality into the culture. Our legislation is derived from our morality as a culture. The laws are downstream from the culture. So while I can agree with the legislation you're putting up, Hell Nah, I don't think that that is the method by which we're going to have radical change in this country. This is the same argument Fatty was making. And with the analogy I brought up to him was, what is going to do more to curb alcoholism in a country, DUI laws or Alcoholics Anonymous?
Prohibition
Former.
actually worked to curb alcohol consumption. You can legislate morality.
No, you
The only
you can
radical-
legislate based on your morality, which would be immoral legislation. But what I'm saying is you're kind of putting the cart before the horse. You need to have leaders that are.
It is historically the other way around. The law determines morality. Abortion did not blow up until
who
Roe v.
makes the
Wade
law?
passed.
Who makes the law?
No, abortion did not become
Who
popular
makes the law?
until Roe v. Wade passed. Because it was a law, then it became
Right.
moral.
No, it was
Yes,
a moral.
yes.
No, sir. It was a
I'm not
moral
talking
law.
about philosophy. This is what is historically factual.
So it's only
This is
moral to
historically
put in the
factual.
law.
This is not
Moral
about-
is philosophy. What are you talking about? You're not talking about philosophy and then bringing up morality. What are you doing? You're talking about legal positivism. That's fucking legal philosophy. Do you even know what you're saying?
I
The
only
only
know cause and effect.
happen is if
I only
Ryan
know if X, if A, then B. That's all I know.
So why would
Apparently
a
you don't know
legislator?
that because you're tying directly in, hey, legality is implying morality. It happening is implying morality. That's not something that's being brought up here in if A then B. So can you justify that jump you're making at all or no?
It's I'm sorry, but observable reality isn't a jump. It simply is.
You're saying it's morality. Is morality observable? Can I look at something and see if it's moral or not?
I'm sorry. If we're discussing about the
I'm looking at my
paradigm shift of
computer. Is
what
my
is
computer
determined
moral
to
or
be
not? How do I
moral-
determine that?
Wait,
It's
are you saying,
observable
are you saying
reality.
because
If it's moral or not, you said
No,
it's
no, no,
observable
no.
reality. I'm looking at my
Shut the fuck up
computer.
for just a
What
second.
do I look at
You
to
saying
determine
because-
if my computer's moral or not?
are you
Does it
being
have CP
obtuse
on it?
on
No,
purpose?
dude, you're the one who said it's only moral when it's passed as a law.
You brought
That's
up morality.
kinda
You
retarded.
said it's observable reality. When I
No.
contended with you,
Well, then
hey,
you
the jump
misunderstood
to
my
morality is a jump there. You said, no, it's not a jump. It's observable reality. Now, either you're not following the conversation or you are just dumb. Or both. It could be both.
No, I'm following the conversation just fine.
Okay, so then
The
you're
topic
saying
was-
morality is observable. Well, how do I observe morality?
No, I said history is observable.
And the
And he's saying you
contention
can't
you brought up,
legislate
it's
morality.
observable reality. When
You
I said
absolutely,
this
you
is a
absolutely
jump.
can.
When
You
I said this was a
absolutely
jump,
can
what was I
legislate
relating
morality.
it to? What was I relating it to when I said
You
it was a
can.
jump? Is this
You
an answer
can.
to what I
You
brought
can
up or no?
objectively legislate morality.
Is this an answer to the question or no? Eli, do you think this is an answer to the question
Yeah.
of what was that
No.
related to?
Yeah, no, it doesn't. And what
Marte,
I
is that an answer? How many people here do you think is you answered the question to, or do you think
It's
they're going to say, well,
subjectively
you're dodging?
observable. It's not objectively observable. So you need a subject for that. So morality is emotional. So you would have to observe how someone is reacting to the item in order to see if it's moral or not.
What?
It can't be just because
Are you-
emotional.
what?
So morality.
So why should we hold to emotion? Why should we hold to this?
to the-
Why should we hold to
Morality
this?
is an effect on the human on its will to proceed.
How does
Okay?
morality act on a human's will?
Well, that's what it is. So when you talk about like a war, for instance, there's a morale to the army, and that's the will to proceed on. Morality is not.
Why do
good
you
or
think
bad.
that's what morality is?
Morality
Just
is
why
the
do you think
ability
that's what
for
morality
humans
is?
to proceed.
No.
Why do you think that
Yes,
this is
that's
what morality is?
No, it's
Why
not.
do you think that this is what morality is?
Because that's what it is.
Why do
Oh.
you think
Why do I-
that?
Why
We're
do you
obviously
think it is?
contending that's what it is. You're saying that's what
do
it
you-
is. So
what
why do you believe that's what it
morality
is?
What do you believe morality is? Because that's
I'm not
what
sure
I
how this
believe
is related to the question that I asked you.
No, what do
I
you
believe
believe
morality is a
morality-
hot dog. Now, can you answer the question I asked you?
Well, I don't.
I know you don't. You said it's related to the
Because
whale
I
of
know how
people.
it's
So can you tell me
used
why
in
you
war.
believe what you believe?
I know how it's used in populations. There's a population morale. So morality is the
Dude, you're equivocating these terms. It's not the same thing.
well, it's using a base term. What does the base term moral
Yeah,
mean? It doesn't mean good
yeah.
or bad.
That's pretty much literally what it means. It's the
Oh,
method
That's
by
what
which
all
someone
moral
makes a distinction.
That's what it means.
Yeah, it's,
Objectively.
No,
it's,
it
it's
means
how
the
one makes
will
a
to
distinction
proceed.
between good and evil.
So if something is immoral, it will shrink someone into depression. If something is moral, it will give someone the ability.
Have you ever seen
to
serial
proceed.
killers, dude? They're very happy about the immoral shit they're doing. Where are you getting this from?
No, wait.
So,
That's moral to him because
immoral.
if they don't kill people, it shrinks them into depression. Casting Shadows, do you think it was moral when Jeffrey Dahmer cannibalized all those people? Because he would have been really sad if he didn't.
Is Jeffrey Dahmer still around?
Is that an
Didn't
answer
he
to the
get
question,
stopped?
or are you dodging again?
Didn't he get stopped? So how is he proceeding?
Is this at all an answer to the question?
It's because of the
As you at
law.
that time period, before he was stopped casting Shadow. Right at that time state.
You
Do you know
said
how
that
to do
your
this?
standard for morality is whether or not it makes someone depressed. I mean, that's a
Yeah,
retarded
so when
standard.
someone's
That's
depressed, they cannot proceed. They lose their willpower. So morality. So you can have something that increases team morale, and that's the
not
ability-
morality, dude.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not. It's a distinction between good and evil.
No, it isn't. No, it isn't. That's not what morality is.
Look it up, bro. Read a book.
Why should anyone take your
So
view of what
God
morality is
did
casting
things
shadows?
that you would say are objectively evil.
No, he didn't.
He did. He killed people.
No, you would say it's objectively evil. I wouldn't.
Okay, whatever. Then Jeffrey Dahmer killed people, and that's not evil.
I know that's what you believe. That's
I
literally
think
what you just said.
Would it be objectively evil to use the law to fix the birth rate decline?
Increase their willpower.
No,
That's what I
so
believe morality
you
is.
said if
From
somebody's
the base of
depressed,
moral.
Okay, you believe morality is that. Why should any of
Not
us
good
care
or
what
evil.
you believe
There's a
morality is? Can you
distinction
give us any
between morality
compelling
and
reason to use morality in the same sense in this conversation as you are, since everyone else here is using it in a different sense than you?
That's fine. They can be wrong.
What makes you
you
right?
can too.
What makes you right, casting Shadow?
Because there's
Everyone can be wrong.
between the use of the base term.
Etymological fallacy. Now, can you give a relevant argument?
Well, so words have no meaning?
No, that's not what that means, you dumb
That is
motherfucker.
kind of dumb. Why does Merriam-Webster exist?
Every letter has a distinct meaning. Every word has a distinct meaning. Just
No, it
because
does.
Every
you
word does.
understand
You're saying
the
it doesn't
usage
have a
of the
distinct
word.
meaning. You're
Yeah,
saying
you
it's
just said
inherently
the
related to
opposite.
the root word.
That would be like saying
No,
that
so Captain Child, you are
fatality is
disproving
fatal.
yourself right now.
That would be
You're
like
saying every word has a
fatality is
distinct
fatal.
meaning while simultaneously holding that
Are-
every
are
word has to be
nothing
related
similar.
to its base word. That's saying that they don't
It is
have a
related
distinct
to its
meaning.
base
You are
word.
providing
Word
a
concept
contradiction here
fallacy.
in the
Itty
form
is
of
a
P and
suffix.
not P right
Moral
here.
is the
Casting Shadow.
base word. Itty is something that's
And we've already went over this is an
modulating
etymological
the
fallacy.
term moral.
This is not
If
related
moral
to an
doesn't
argument.
mean good or evil, then morality doesn't mean good or evil.
All right. Crucible
It's a
Crusader
logical
coming in with the
fallacy.
big pen says, "Let's hit the goal and shit." Yes,
Shit.
guys.
Fucking crazy.
You only have about
Did my part.
27 minutes to hit that goal. Thanks to who's that? What was it? Tech. You guys have a heavy goal to fulfill tonight because Tech started talking shit in the beginning. So you can all blame him that you haven't met the goal yet. Joel Dalton says, "Remove Corinth, and bring back Section 8." Or hell no. Harry Ludwig says 5 just to say, "I love you all." The best freaking chat I've ever watched. You guys are really great at roasting. I'm enjoying this. Draco says, "Kick Shadow from Whoville." Shadow, you're going to the back.
Sorry.
Right back here. And next up is Evan. Casting Shadows. I gave you a chance to say something intelligent, but you failed. The hot sugar hair dye has been destroying your brain cells. You get 5. And I believe actually Mama Tomato made the request to boot Casting Shadows, and Sarcastic Saint obliged and gave that gift
nice.
to my lovely mama. Thank you, Saint. Evan Lord says, "I'm also doing my part to bring up Mr. Hellna. Also, thank you for the stream, Miss Sarah." You're most welcome, Evan. And by the way, Evan, Evan was over on a Team Fatty open panel. I thought that was really awesome.
It was with me.
Our one little vanilla white friend entering into what does he call it? Valhalla versus Wakanda or some shit. And I thought that was
He was
so
on my
awesome.
panel, yeah.
I was so proud of you, Evan. Casting Shadows, you got another goodbye back there. Thumping Weevil says, she just wanted to
Exactly.
And Free says, "Have a good stream, Sarah. It's dinner time. Enjoy your dinner, Free. And thank you so kindly." Okay, backstage. Now we've got Reese from Philly hanging back there. Ryan and let's see. Toasted, and then we're back at Corinth and Casting Shadows. Okay, back to you guys. Oh, hell no, you're back. They bought you back up, darling.
Yeah, I'll even pay with you on stage. It's pretty entertaining, bro. So I'm speaking your language right now, so we can have a conversation, bro.
Axe.
Oh, the axe got your tongue, bro.
I'll slow it down so I could. So I can,
no, please don't make it any slower. It's slowing up, bro. It's not, I need to sped up a little bit more. You're killing my brain cells right now. Just keep going. All right, okay. I don't know what happened. Go ahead, Brooksy.
Yeah. Oh, hell no. Are you with us?
Oh, hell no. If you're talking, you're muted. You need to fix your mic.
Now he's muted.
Oh, he's trying.
Me now?
Turn up the volume knob.
Yeah, we got you.
We can hear you.
Are you borrowing your neighbor's Wi-Fi right now? Oh, hell no. Is that what's going on?
Before we kick off, oh, hell no. Sasquatch, are you making your exit, sir?
I gotta bounce. Yeah, I have to go do like daddy
Adult
type
shit.
stuff.
Aw.
But I'll try to get back
That's
before you go. I
Sasquatch.
want to chew on some of this, but
Type shit.
Everybody shut up. Your final thoughts, Sasquatch.
Everyone's pointing at other things to blame for declining birth rates, and really, I think it largely comes down to personal decisions. Every single person tries to think of why they don't need a kid rather than what beauty a kid is. And so it's hard. It's difficult. I've been through several of them. Most of them were not mine. But children don't choose who their parents are. And so there's no point in ever taking out anything on children, regardless of their circumstances. So just do it for the kids, man. The kids. Much love. Y'all be great.
I love you, Sasquatch.
Yeah.
I do think that as well. Like, children are such a blessing to have in our lives, and those people who do choose it, whether it was a good situation, bad situation, there is no perfect parental situation. You're never, if you ever try to get ready and prepared to have children, you'll never be ready. You'll never be ready.
Yeah.
I was kind of thrown into the depths of, oh, you're going to be a parent now. And it was a very big shock for me. But like, I love my babies and I love being a mother. And I think that instead of like, maybe if we kind of had some psychological reverse kind of thing here, right? Where you kind of spin it in a different way, where we should be priding parents and being excited for those who are choosing to have babies, even single moms, single dads, people who are having children in different ways and different, like, that are abnormal. And if we pride people for becoming parents, instead of shaming people for not, maybe they'll jump on board with the idea, like, it's Pavlov's bell. You give rewards, people get excited and they do the same, they do good behaviors. Maybe that's a direction we should go. All right, I'll leave it back to you guys.
I want to bounce off that a little bit. A lot of what I hear, at least from people talking about whether or not they want to have kids, is how expensive it is. And, we can't do this on even the income we have. I completely disagree with that. I have got a 3-year-old. Is it an extra expense? Sure. But is it the worst expense ever? Absolutely not. What I think is happening is people don't want, this is the idea that we've had so far in society, is that you're supposed to get your career, get somewhere established in that, and then the family and the kids kind of comes as an accessory, like a rite of passage, a flower blooming from the stem of this career choice you made. And I believe that the inverse should be the case. I think that especially with a traditional home where you have a man that's taking on the financial and career burdens, and you have a woman that's being the nurturer and the primary child rearer, which I totally agree with what was being said earlier. This needs to be a venerated position as actually more important than any job anybody else could be doing, because it is a it's better and more transcendental than a career. It's the bedrock of society, and this should be venerated, not getting a sandwich and be Handmaid's Tale, but actually like you're doing something even far more important than me going out and turning wrenches every day. With that kind of dynamic, the career and the money will come later, but the child will grow up with loving parents in a structured family, and the money doesn't matter. I mean, you see plenty of people that are in poorer situations have plenty of kids. I don't always agree with the behaviors you see from those kind of situations. However, kids don't need much to be entertained. You buy them a toy, they'd rather play with the box half the time than the toy itself, right? They'll meet you where you're at. They just want to be interacted and loved by you. So this myth that it's too expensive and I'm so far in my career I can't have a kid. I think people are putting their lifestyle and the things that they want from the world as far as material value first. And they say, I want to have all of this, and then I want the kids to be a budding flower off of my successful material gains, right? And I think that if you switch that around and you say we can grow financially and grow our wealth together as a family, then you are leading to more success. I totally push back against the narrative. I think it's like Sasquatch was saying, it's the priorities. It's how do you really want children because you believe that family is the most important bedrock to society, or do you want children because you think, well, it's just kind of that time in my life where I guess I'm supposed to be doing this because that's the way the storybook said so.
That's fair. Marte, you're going to be leaving us for the evening. Would you like to say your final thoughts, please?
Yes, I have some final thoughts. So my prescription that I offered was propaganda and a social push towards incentivization, which has a higher probability than Oh Hell Not's credit score. So to that point, I'm just going to let you know that I'm leaving this to Evan and Reese from Philly. By the way, we was Kangs in the trenches of Fatty's panels. So Eli, it's good to see you again. I think that there's hope yet, but I haven't heard a solution quite as good as propaganda in incentivization of culture. So I'll leave you with that, and you guys have a great evening. I appreciate you, Sarah. Hit the like button, people. Yeah.
Thank you, Marte. I love it when the men tell my chat what to do because the everyone will listen to the men here, right? Have a wonderful evening, Marte. Enjoy it. Finally, Ryan.
So good to be back. If I can just real quick respond, it's super curious to what Marte's saying. I can't imagine a better solution than cultural propaganda or whatever, all this stuff. I mean, to Sarah's credit, Sarah just made a great point about incentivizing people to have children by supporting, valorizing to that degree, cultural incentivizations are useful, right? It's good to support people who are having kids. Love that. People want to have kids. We should support them. Some of the best ways to show that we're supporting them would be good social programs that support them. Like in Sweden, they have paid parental leave for like 480 days per child. And they have universal child allowances, right? It's like a monthly cash allowance benefit for each child. In Canada, they have a Canada Child Benefit, which is a tax-free monthly cash paid per child. They also have paid maternity and parental benefits. If we want to show parents, people who are deciding to choose to become parents, that we want to support them in doing so, why not do these policies? Republicans hate all these policies, so but they're the ones who are crying out the fucking birth rate. What's going on here?
Ryan, about programs and such like that. I was just doing a look through history from some of the societies that desperately wanted kids before the modern push. And looking at, say, what the Germans did in the 1940s, they tried everything under the sun to go and help. They tried state brothels. They did very generous pension programs for children. They did tax-free for large families. There was a national push for seeing them as heroes of the society. And from all of that, it seems only the positive propaganda worked. And I would say if you look at a country like India and you compare it to China, India has been for the longest time trying to go and limit their population through state control, saying, hey, you can't have this many children. There needs to be less people. But it's been constantly ignored. And if you look at China where they did it and it worked, I'd say the main difference between the two is the large influence of religion in their societies. I think if you look at I think the positive aspects of a societal culture with like a religion that helps promote it. And through the natural things, as a society becomes more religious, they'll move naturally away from more birth control and sort of abortion because they see every child as valuable. And so I would say if countries where people have pretty much nothing and they have barely any space to live, yet they still choose to have so many kids that some of their kids end up dying due to neglect, I would say that works more than just trying to artificially promote it, because it won't do much. And
So I
Yeah,
actually agree that programs like that would help, but they have to be combined with the propaganda angle too. And I mean, propaganda sounds bad, but I think it's more just like the social media influencer sort of sphere. I think adding to that, because the programs alone, they seem to kind of help a little bit, but the decline just comes right back. So although the countries that have put in all of these programs, it hasn't really done much overall long term. So I think we do need that, but you can't just have that alone.
Well, again, you can't legislate
I'm
morality
saying it
and you
should be
can't
both.
legislate culture. If the culture only views having a kid as kind of an option that fits within my financial lifestyle, then it becomes kind of a secondary priority in their lives. So and especially if these companies have to, pay extra money to be accommodating with these programs, I might agree that the program would be effective. But if people are choosing to not have kids anyway, or it's a secondary maybe kind of option, then what incentive do these companies have to do these programs if the birth rate is in decline? What we need to do is actually make it cool, make it moral, make it something venerated and valuable to have a kid, because the people who actually hold this belief, this cultural belief that family is the most important thing and kids and starting a family is the number one priority in my life, they're going to do it regardless of their financial status. They're going to go against the odds. They're going to do it because that's the number one priority in their life. If we change the culture where that's happening in mass, then those programs that you're talking about will probably come after, because they're like, man, everybody's having kids because the culture's dictating it. We need to be accommodating to what's happening. But if it's already on the decline, what incentive do they have to do these programs? It's declining.
Let me interrupt. Thumping Weevil is going to make her exit for the evening. Would you like to give your final thoughts?
I would just like to say that even if we ban abortions, birth control, Plan B, it's still going to be found. It's still going to happen. And I think there will be more at risk at that point. I'm not saying I'm with abortions, because I'm definitely not. I'm Christian. I think every baby deserves a chance. But if you do ban them, they're still going to find a way. They're still going to be out there no matter what you do. So I think there's got to be a different solution.
That's fair.
You would need a majority of men.
Bye, Thumping Weevil. Have a wonderful evening. And of course, per usual,
Can I say
Brian.
one thing real quick
go
before
ahead.
I go back down? Yeah, I just want to say to Hell Not, you keep talking about how there's, if we only had 100% of men, well, only about 12 to 13% of men agree with you that all abortion should be illegal. So good fucking luck, dude. You're not gonna win that battle.
And Alex said to go ahead. Go ahead.
Match up. I think like a man, you think like a woman.
Okay, I'm owned. All right, I'll see you guys.
See eye to eye on anything, bro.
Ryan, pardon me for just a moment. Alex said, Ryan, Sweden is at 1.47 births per woman. They are doing worse than us.
Maybe so. To be clear, I'm not even. I maybe I missed the beginning of the panel, so I don't know if this was covered. But I haven't really been convinced this is actually like a real problem that's impending danger to society. So I don't know. It seems to be everyone takes it for granted that the collapsing birth rate is going to be the end of society or some shit. I'm not. I haven't seen this evidence. You guys, people have talked about numbers. They throw numbers around like this demonstrates it. I don't think that that's been done. I don't think a very strong case has been made. I think people are just kind of buying into a very, very specific narrow narrative of birth rate decline being this existential danger. And and also all these same people like hate immigration and all these other things. So I don't know. Fuck them.
Well, wait, Ryan, do you believe? Oh, he's gone.
What?
What's up?
Go ahead,
Well, I was gonna say, do you believe in science and statistics and all of that?
Yeah, generally. I don't know, but I don't know.
There's what's called the replacement level, and we're underneath it. Do you know what the replacement level is?
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah, it's our
that would be
ability
the
to
level of
repopulate
replacement of
ourselves.
humans. Yeah, and
yeah.
Okay,
So
so
if
why would immigration not help with that, right?
Not all humans are at the same level of productivity.
That's not what I asked. I didn't ask that. I asked why.
Well,
why
no,
would
I mean, so
immigration help
you've not provided a prescription to something you just said wasn't a problem, but now you seem to
if
think
it's a problem. If I grant you it's a problem, then immigration is something that would help.
Well,
us,
yeah,
right?
you were sounding like you were saying it wasn't a problem, that it was.
I'm not convinced that it's a real, like, being below a certain rate that we were at one point doesn't, that's not an existential crisis to me. I don't know. That doesn't tell me. That just says we're lower. We have one number that's lower than a number it was at some point in the past. I don't know what the number was before that point in the past. Like,
but there's a number
there's so much
that we
packed
need to
into
be
this, right?
above in order to replace the society.
According to
Would
who?
you think it's a problem? According to the people who do the analytics and the data of the
Did anybody
replacement
post any
level.
of this data at any point?
It's a mathematical equation. So let me just ask you this.
Can you tell me what good data to look at here? Just since you seem to be so deeply entrenched in
Sure.
this. What specific data should I
Let
look
me
at?
just ask you real quick. If the replacement level dictates that this is the level by which we need to be at least to replace our society, do you think that we should be above that level?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Or we can have other things like immigration that would help as well. Yeah.
Okay, but like you said, you don't think that it's a, like, again, I'm not trying to put words in your mouth, but when you say, I don't think this is an impending problem, I don't think that this is really something we should be worried about. But then in the next breath, when I ask you, well, do you think being under the replacement rate is a problem? You say yes. So it's
No, you basically asked me if it
but-
was a problem. Hang on, you just gave me a hypothetical where you asked me, like, if it was a problem that we needed to address, then would you agree with addressing? And I'm like, well, yeah, I guess if it was a problem, if it was a real thing we had to address, then maybe we should address it. But I'm not saying that doesn't tell me it is a problem.
Under the
That's
replacement
assuming
level
that it
now?
is a problem.
Do you believe that we're under the replacement level now? Yes or no?
I think so. Yeah, that seems to be what the data says.
Okay, well then so now it's gone from if it is a problem, I'm admitting it's now a problem.
No, I'm not
So-
saying I don't know that being under that number is necessarily a problem.
But I
If
just
that number
asked
might
you.
change.
That's what I just asked you. I said, is being under that number a problem?
Okay, hang on. If we're like 0.001 below the replacement rate, is the human race going to die out?
If we don't get literally the whole point of the mathematical equation is that if you stay
So in a
below
few
the
million
number,
years, the human race might die out. If we have if we're like 0.001 below it, right? In a few
Again,
million
I
years, we
don't-
might die out if we stay below that. But if it's just barely below it, and we have like thousands of years before we're actually going to deal with this problem, I don't know that it's a real problem. I'm not convinced it's a real problem. That's all I'm saying.
okay, so you say that being below the replacement level is a real problem. You agree that we're below
Could
the
be.
replacement
All I'm saying is
level,
it could be
but
a
now
real
you're-
problem.
Okay, so you're going back and forth on your position.
No,
and
I'm really not.
you
I'm being
just
so
wanna say
fucking
that people
consistent. You're just
who
not
are-
following me.
It's
No,
completely
I'm saying
inconsistent,
I'm
dude.
not convinced it's a real problem. I'm saying I can imagine a world where it is a real problem, and
So
I
if-
don't. The evidence has not been presented to me.
So let me re-ask you again: is being under the replacement rate a problem? Yes or no?
I don't know.
Okay, that's not what you just said at the beginning of this conversation.
I said it could be. It could be a problem.
It could be. Okay, I'll have to
That's
go back.
literally
and
been
check.
my position this entire fucking time. I don't know how you don't understand that. Maybe I misspoke at one point in this, but I've absolutely been
Well,
consistent.
yeah.
I don't know if it's a problem. I've said it could be a problem. I'm not convinced it is. That's literally been my position this entire conversation.
Okay.
I don't know why you're like trying to
No.
gaslight me about that.
No, because when I asked you if being below the replacement level was a problem, you didn't say it could be. You said yes, and now you've switched to it could be. I don't know. I need
Okay,
to
I
see
misspoke
the
then.
numbers.
Yeah, I'd say it could be. I misspoke then. I retract my yes
Right.
there.
Right. Okay. Gotcha. So, how long would it have to take in order for you to consider it to be a problem? Like for
I
us
don't
to
know.
get back to, okay. Because I think that what it's saying by the replacement level is that in the long term, it's not going to happen unless we do something about it. So that's what I wanted to bring
What's not
up
gonna
is when you being able to replace the population. That's
If I
what's
help, like
entailed-
completely like what are the like realistically in 100 hang on realistically in 100 years how drastic are we expecting the population difference to be? Like is this existential really or are we just like LARPing about like the number of babies we want women to have?
I think that first of all, even regardless of how long it takes, I think it's always a good thing socially for a social cohesion and for a good culture to have a evaluation
That sounds
level.
like a bunch of vibes. We
I'm
don't
not-
have social cohesion. You and I don't have social cohesion. Like fuck you. I disagree. Your worldview sucks to me, right? So we don't have social cohesion here. That has nothing to do with whether or not people have babies or not. I don't give a shit what your view of
So
social
you don't think
cohesion
that
is.
strong families are important to a cohesive society?
I think it's dope when people have strong families. You and I probably don't even agree what a strong family looks like.
Well, okay, yeah, that would probably be the next question. So it does. Do you need children to have?
You see, we're moving very far away from the actual topic, which is whether or not the birth rate is an existential risk, right?
Yeah, I know. But that's what I'm talking about. So do you think that having children creates strong families? You need children to have strong families?
For there to be a family, I guess there needs to be children. Yes.
There you
Well,
go.
not even really. No.
So even if we grant your position that okay, fine, the replacement level thing, it may be a problem, it may take millions of years, it may not. I'm not going to pretend like I'm an expert on it, but I think that if I'm supposed to do what your worldview is always telling me, which is trust the experts, and the experts dictate a level that we need to replace, and we're underneath it, I think that's a problem. You think it may or may not be a problem? Vagueness.
I don't even know if the experts said that. I asked you for one.
I'm telling you the source. Okay,
just give me
Google
one thing I can Google.
Is the United States below the replacement level? The answer is yes.
No, but what are the implications of that? Just being below it. Like
I'm just trusting the experts, Ryan. Do you think we should trust the experts?
Are the experts saying it's an existential crisis?
Oh, a lot of people asked the same thing during COVID. So a lot of people.
Yeah, and a million Americans died. Are a million Americans going to die because women aren't having enough babies?
They are if they're having enough abortions.
God forbid.
Well,
yeah, anyway. Most people who have abortions are already mothers, so they already have kids. So they already have kids. You know, wait, do you know that? Are you aware of that, Eli? Are you aware of that most people who have abortions already have kids? So they're already supporting the birth rate?
Yeah, but they're not when
they're already creating strong families. So why are you crying about this?
But because they're killing humans, and I don't like that. But
okay, well, you can go stop them, all right?
Well, no, but you claim consistency in your worldview. I love strong families. I think they're dope. I don't really care about the replacement level. This is kind of all over the place.
It's really. I think it's been perfectly clear this entire time.
Why would the replacement
in fact,
level?
Anyone who's ever seen me on any of these panels recognizes that I'm making the same claims and from the same value system that I always fucking do. I'm not saying anything new or insane right now.
No, I'm just asking you, why would you come on here to kind of poo-poo the situation? And again, we can all pull up the facts together and have a kumbaya about it.
I wish we would. I wish we would pull up something. I wish you would show me some evidence.
Yeah, the evidence is that we're below the replacement rate. Now, you might think that those particular experts are full of shit and that they're fear-mongering, but you seem to believe in strong families and that you want us to have babies, and yet you also want to kind of devalue this problem because you haven't seen the evidence. So,
man, the
again,
Crucible guys are not sending their best here,
I did not.
I'm sorry. You're just not addressing what I'm saying at
Ryan,
all.
the
Crucible guy. What does this fucking hat say? Taste the country. I'm a dumb hillbilly, dude.
All right, whatever.
Ryan, just to go and say, like, the problem with like a population declining is that there isn't enough people to go and like send like food and distribute. There's not enough people to go and take care of the old people. It becomes like a population pyramid where the people who have resources can't go and spend their money effectively because there isn't enough ways to get what they need. So it's a serious
I agree
issue.
that could be a problem. What I don't know, based on the numbers that you guys are saying, like I don't know that just being below the birth rate for some period of time means that we are going to face some existential crisis of the sort you're describing. I don't know that that's going to happen. All I'm asking is for one. I'm not even saying it's not going to happen. I'm just asking if anybody here on this panel about birth rate decline can tell me one source to read about this.
Okay, so let's just go by bullshit Google. Okay, like the AI, what the fuck ever it says. Yes, being below the replacement rate for fertility is a problem because it leads to an aging population, a shrinking workforce, slower economic growth, and potential fiscal challenges for government programs like Social Security and Medicare. A replacement rate of about 2.1 births per woman is needed to replace the population. While sub-replacement fertility challenges economies and social structures, the severity of the problem depends on the factors like the rate of decline, the age structure of the population, and the abilities of societies to adapt. So basically what it's saying is, yeah, if we dip under it and we go back up, that's fine. But if it stays the way that it is, you start getting into big fucking problems.
Well, it also said at the end there, that last two sentences was all about how it depends on a lot of different factors. Like the different countries have different problems to deal with and might not have to deal with all those major problems.
Well, yeah, if the societies can adapt to their inevitable collapse. But you know what the problem
America's really good at adapting. That's one of the things we're dumb as fuck at.
You know what the problem with...
the problem.
Real quick. The problem with citing millions of years in the future is when you don't have kids, you actually don't have any investment in the future. So, you know, again, from the atheist materialist worldview,
you're just attacking. There are people who have kids who agree with everything I'm saying right now. So what do you tell them?
I think that people who have kids and don't encourage their kids to also start families and don't give a shit what their lineage looks like millions of years in the future are morally bankrupt. That's just me.
Okay, well, I want to have kids, so that doesn't apply to me anyway. So there you go.
All right.
Well, okay, go ahead.
It is time to boot Ryan. I let it go just because I wanted to let you guys have your conversation. And Corinth, it is now your turn on stage. And for the super chats, additionally, Blasterbot says Mongolia was able to turn it around by giving national awards to women who had lots of kids. Give women with kids bragging rights over those without, and they will push for it. And that kind of goes to what I was saying earlier, is to, you know, maybe try a positive route here and you know, try it that way. I think that might help. Tard Wrangler says immigration is a temporary fix. What happens when we can no longer import more people? The issue right-wingers have with immigration is the culture change that comes with mass immigration. But even at that, like the numbers I was looking at, it was on a global scale. Like globally, our birth rate was declining across all places. There were very minimal places that were not. So even with immigration, like we're not changing anything. We're just shifting people around. Like that's not fixing the actual problem.
Well, real quick, there's this really funny ideology I keep pointing out with the whole immigration thing. You know, they talk about, well, who's going to do all of the like horrible, low-paying manual labor jobs? And I'm like, it kind of sounds like a serf, you know, indentured servitude kind of attitude. And that, so they're always wanting to like export and, import and hire all the things they don't want to do, and now they're pawning it off to children. It's like, well, let's just have the immigrants come over here, pick our strawberries, and now have our babies. It's like, well, how about we do some things for ourselves as a country? How about we get ourselves on the job instead of saying that all of these poor disenfranchised brown people have to come do all the things that we don't like to do? I think it has a lot of racial undertones to it. It's kind of ridiculous.
Yeah, definitely not. Says immigration is not a good fix. I agree. James S. says the problem is we have multiple Ponzi schemes, Social Security, Medicare, several state pensions, the federal debt that require the population to be replaced at the minimum or they go bust. Any thoughts on that?
Actually, it's worse than that. It's not just federal Ponzi schemes; it's a corporate Ponzi scheme. What happens is, say, 10 years ago, a huge corporation, whether it's Walmart, Kmart, Target, whatever it was, said, "Hey, you local council, city such and such, give us tax breaks, give us funds, give us securities, give us all these things that we need to build this huge thing. And here's what we promise: we're going to promise you that we're going to have this many cashier lanes. We're going to provide you this many jobs. We're going to provide you all these benefits to you, your community, your people, your kids, so on and so forth." And what do they do in those after the thing's built? They don't man the cashier, and they don't want to hire your kids for the wage that they're going to be required to pay. They're going to go to someone else. That's the bait and switch. It's a corporate Ponzi scheme as well. That's what's in cities. It's not just federal. It's corporate.
Well, if it is the case that it is the problem, then wouldn't it be the men's responsibility to propagandize it and incentivize it?
Sorry, come again?
If it is the case that it is a problem, that the birthright rate decline is a problem, then wouldn't it be the men's responsibility as the caretakers of society to incentivize having kids?
It's kind of loaded. I mean, I think men in a position of leadership should be spearheading these movements, and we are within, you know, religious communities and a lot of the rhetoric you're hearing from today. However, I think that all people within a nation have some form of duty towards a nation, and what's best for the nation. So I don't think that just pawning the entire burden off 100% on men's shoulders is going to do any good if the women are the one who have to have the babies. This is a group effort. Every good family is a group
Yeah,
effort.
but
That's
the men
the problem.
need the women to have the babies.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So it's a
Men's
group effort.
duty is to defend the country. Women's duty
So-
is to have the babies for us to have the country.
I know, but we can't, like Sarah pointed out, if we just act like assholes and say that, you know what, you guys are just like breeding mules, go make a sandwich, and we have this kind of rhetoric online.
Well, we don't necessarily have to be assholes about it.
That's what I'm saying. It needs to be a venerated thing. It needs to be something that is held to one of the highest standards we could possibly have, so that we work in symbiotic relationship.
How can we do that when they're out here literally selling it for less than $10 on the internet?
Shit, I'm just like
the women are having a problem having sex.
Every woman I meet's a hoe. I'm from the fatty clan. If she got a pussy, she a hoe. Shit. This is retarded, dude.
Evan Lord, pardon me for just a moment. Evan Lord drops a big 5. He doesn't have babies. He has a cat. He says, my cat is being needy and shit, so I have to go. Great topic, and happy Labor Day. Harry Ludwig dropping 5 Raging Tomato memberships. Congratulations to you lucky lottery winners. Scott says, thanks NGOs, bureaucrats, leftists, and feminists. And Tard Wrangler. And I will say, chat, you can go ahead and take your W. You have fulfilled the goal without me doing a whole lot of nagging at you and lecturing. So congratulations to you. Tard Wrangler says, no, Sarah, when I say mass immigration, I mean moving millions of people from one side of the planet to the other. Look at the UK right now, millions from the Middle East, and now it's a culture
That's a great
war.
example.
That's true.
This was, let's see, you said immigration is a temporary fix. What happens when we can no longer import more people? The issue right wingers have the immigration is the culture change that comes from mass. Okay, yeah, I see. All right. Okay, back to you guys.
So if it is the case that it's a problem and we have an incentivization problem, how do you suggest that we fix it then?
A return to the Christian ethic by all people.
So in other words, you're saying that we should entirely push an entire religious ethos on people?
Yes.
So
yes.
in other words, you would be saying we need to force religion on people.
No force.
Nope.
No force.
No.
So how would you suggest that we take religion and we get it to incentivize the people to, especially the women, when you've got the other side of the propaganda that are completely demonizing Christianity?
Yeah, well, we have to beat them in numbers. We have to beat them in rhetoric. We have to beat them in culture. We have to do boycotts and do a grassroots effort. It's something I think you're seeing before your very eyes in a lot of the spaces online today.
And I think
some for better or for worse, depending on what corner of the internet you're in, which is why I specified that.
So in other words, we have to use our Christian basis to make legislation. Correct?
Point of view,
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. What did you say?
Go ahead,
I'm
Casting.
sorry. Did I talk over somebody? I didn't mean to interrupt somebody.
Hold on, Toasted. Go ahead, Casting.
So from my point of view, in my sphere, everyone that I know has kids. Like everyone that I grew up with has kids. So I don't exactly see this happening. Like from a first person perspective, my brother has 3 kids. All of his employees have multiple children, but they work construction, and it seems that like all the construction guys that I see, they all have families.
Hold on, we got an echo somewhere. Daniel, I think it's coming from yours. Go ahead, Casting.
So I don't exactly see it. I don't know where the people are that aren't having kids. Like I guess I don't have kids, so I'm one of the few in the family that don't. But also, I have an uncle who didn't have kids until his 40s. So it's not to say that I'm not going to have kids. You only have to have 2 kids to replace you and your wife, assuming they don't die. So there's that. But I also want to chime in on what Oh Hell No is saying. So he's saying to ban birth control. And I would agree. Ban the birth control. Because it seems that the people that are planning to take the birth control are the type of intelligence that we need to procreate, like people with actual planning skills. It seems the most intelligent populations are the ones that are able to plan. If you look at all the northern populations, they seem to have a higher average intelligence than the southern populations. And that's due, in my understanding, to the winners, that they have to actually plan for the future. People relying on abortion. Actually, that's all I wanted to say. I'm going to stop myself because I might say something that's controversial.
Well, we love controversial here. And Boredom says, Toasted, remember when you told us you can't take L's on panels? Take this one and to the back of the line. Back you go. Ryan up. And James says, Shade is spot on with corporate Ponzi, like the execs getting excited about the AI cost cutting. They want to pump their stock for a few quarters. Who is going to buy their products in the future?
I don't know about that one, but I know that banning birth control is a dumb idea. So,
Ryan, can I say something?
I think normalizing infertility is stupider.
Hang on, George wants to ask me something, right?
Can I ask this question? Are you saying that the fact that we are replacing people is not a bad thing? That we are replacing people with other people? Are you saying that?
What I'm saying is I don't know the immediacy of the issue, and which is why what I've really been asking, or that whole conversation with Eli was just like if he could point me, because he seems like he's so confident about it, right? I could be convinced that this is a major problem that we need to address, which is why initially when I came on, I started talking about like all these different solutions. I'm just not sure that it is a possible. Of course, I agree. If we had not enough humans to replace the workforce, I think that would be a bad thing.
There you go.
We're not talking about humans, and we are talking about people from other countries coming over to your country, and they're replacing you with other type of culture.
Nobody's replacing me. I'm not going anywhere.
Ryan,
They're not replacing me. That's not how it works.
They're gonna replace
Hang
you.
on, if an immigrant comes over here, I still get to live here. Nobody's replacing me.
You have kids, and we're not having kids, and they replace us.
Ryan, next
They would
stream, you're gonna
wait if
load
you're
it up
if you're an
and gonna
American
be an
citizen,
immigrant.
then you're not replacing American citizens. You are an American citizen. You don't have to have like a certain bloodline to be an American citizen.
I think I need to help George out here. George, Ryan has no allegiance to any form of people or ethnos or tradition or culture. He has no allegiance to any of that.
Oh, that's not true. I have an allegiance to the Constitution of the United States. Why don't you speak for your fucking self, Shade Master? Why don't you not? Hey, why don't you not talk for me, Shade Master, and talk about what my allegiances are? Okay, how about you speak for your goddamn self?
Out here.
You're not helping George by casting positions onto me that I don't fucking hold, dude. Why don't you help yourself?
Okay, prove me wrong, Ryan. Prove me wrong, Ryan.
I don't have to prove you wrong. I care about the Constitution of the United States, which says that you don't need a fucking bloodline to be an American.
Beyond his testimony, what proof do you want Ryan to provide? He's telling you, no, I do not hold to this position. Here's a position I do hold to that's contradictory to this position.
Let George
What else
continue.
do you want him to
He
do,
has
Shade?
questions.
Can I ask him a better question?
Let George speak. Let George
Yeah,
speak.
Eli, both of them need help right now. You might actually be able to help.
I'd like to watch it all kind of go down. I really do.
Okay, I'll make the popcorn.
Banning abortion or birth control is not a bad thing. Like
because
It
liberals
would be for all the people who are trying to use it. Sorry, go ahead, George. I apologize.
because liberals are promoting to bring illegals, and the illegals having kids on the American soil, and you want to stay there because for cheap labor, and then having kids, and then because the people in the country don't have kids, and they will at some point through years will replace your people with their people.
You say my people. What do you mean by that? Because again, like Eli and I, we were both Americans, but we disagree. We do not have a social cohesion between us. We have very different worldviews, but like
Also-
we might be closer relatives than me and someone from the Middle East or Africa or whatever. But like, what is that?
Just because
Well-
you say that it's not that it is a
Hey,
problem
come
for these
over
people
here.
trying to have kids, well, it's the same thing as Eli saying that it's a problem about replacement, and you don't believe it. You don't necessarily see the issues. Well,
I'm just
probably
not
a lot of
convinced.
people don't
I'm not. It's not that I don't. Hang on.
No, let me.
It's not that
finish.
like somebody's
Let me
presented
finish.
some really strong
Let me
case to
finish.
me, and
Let me
I'm just like denying it,
Once
right?
over
Like
here.
nobody's mentioned
Let
a
me
single
finish.
person to read.
I wasn't,
No, this
that
is-
wasn't
this
my
is it,
point.
dude.
My point was, how can you say that it's a problem for these people that are having birth control? Well, how is it a problem that they're having kids? Like, if you don't believe
Wait,
that it's a problem that there's a problem with the replacement, well, we don't necessarily believe that there's a problem with these people having kids. Like, if
okay, that's fine. I don't I know, I agree. You don't care about you exactly. I agree, Casting Shadows. I totally hang on. I agree with you. I totally agree with you. You don't care. You don't care about the will of the people who want to take birth control. You don't care about their interests. Hey, no. Let's be clear. You don't care about that. You don't care that they want to have birth control. You don't care that they want to have abortions. You don't care about that. I do. That's the difference between us right now, which is fine. That's fine. That's a different values, right?
I do. But if it's not available, you learn to pull out. You learn to take actual precautions and planning, right? These people are planning.
Okay, why would we take these away? Wait, if we're going to encourage people to use other methods of planning, why would we take away the most effective one?
Why would we take it away? Okay, so the abortion is not necessarily my concern. It's the the birth control pills. So those people are actually planners, and we want intelligent people to replace us in society. So we need to have those people actually having kids, people that have forethought. So
but you're talking about coercing them into having kids against their will by taking away the most effective method of birth control they have.
No, the most effective method is not having sex.
Okay, but people aren't going to do that. People like fucking. I don't know about you. I like fucking. I'm going to keep doing it.
You don't have to come inside a girl. You
can pulling out doesn't pulling the pull-out method is not like nearly as effective as birth control or just wearing a condom, right?
Okay, so how many people do you know that? Okay. I don't actually believe that. I think if you don't come in a girl, you're not going to get her pregnant.
Okay, well, pre-cum is a thing, right?
I guess. I don't know.
What do you mean you guess? Like, do you have a? I don't know. Do you have a penis? Like pre-cum is a real thing, right? Like it has sperm in it. It can get people pregnant.
It's the oldest form of birth control. You just copious interruptus. Learn to do that, but a lot of people don't want to do that.
Okay, but if we're why? Okay, so if the issue, if we're removing birth control so that people will just use the pull-out method instead, if they learn to use the pull-out and it's as effective as you say, and they learn to use the pull-out method, why is that a solution to the what does that help here? If you're saying it's as effective as what you described,
there's a problem. I don't believe that there's a problem with people having kids. You do.
What? No, if they don't want to, I think that's a problem. I think if someone doesn't want to get pregnant and they get pregnant, I think that's a problem for them.
I don't believe that.
You don't think it's a problem? Yes, exactly. It's a values judgment. You don't care. Okay, sorry, finish.
There are so many ways that the child can be supported. If welfare people can have like 10 kids, someone intelligent enough to pay for birth control can have a kid. It's not a problem.
Okay, so again, you don't care if that person who you're saying is the intelligent person who you don't care if they don't want to have a kid. You're saying yes, even if they don't want to is what you're saying, right? Even if they don't want to, can you agree? Even if they don't want to, you want them to.
Well, if they don't want to, then they should probably take precautions. Be serious about
like taking birth control, for example.
Be serious about not wanting to.
Why is taking birth control not serious about you doing birth control? It's already called birth control.
Until you're ready.
Okay, so again, it's really just about policing sex. You don't actually care about the whole children thing.
I don't care. I'm not trying to police sex. I don't care if they have kids. You do.
It sounds like you just backed up to policing sex.
No, I say if you want to, if you care. So if you don't want to have kids, let your girl suck your dick until you're ready to have a kid. If you're really serious about it, okay? Or else you're possibly gonna have a kid.
Sure. Or you can use condoms or birth control.
Yeah, or we could ban birth control, and all the intelligent people that are smart enough to use it will be replacing itself, and we.
Okay, so we'll make sure that the dumb people. Wait. So the dumb people who don't replace the birth control, they just fuck. That means we're gonna have way more dumb kids, right?
Abortion are lower
by your standard,
right? Because they're not pre-planning. But I want to repopulate with the people that have the ability to pre-plan. Like all the Northerners, they plan for winter. Those are the most intelligent populations on Earth, are the ones in the North, because they have the capacity to plan. So the people.
Okay, so the intelligent people that you're describing, the intelligent people are going to be the ones who find alternative solutions to not having kids, right?
They might if they.
So banning birth control is only going to make more poor people have kids, more poor dumb people, as you put it, as you believe it, right? They're going to have more kids.
I don't think so.
It seems like it would literally have, like, it's intuitive, right? Like, hang on, no, let's walk through this one more time, because this is exactly your argument. You're saying you want the smarter people who can plan. Please. I'll let you talk a lot, right? But if we ban birth control, so the people who are smart enough to use alternative methods, they find those alternative methods. The ones who are not smart enough to find those alternative methods, they're going to have kids because they're all still going to fuck, right? So that means more of those alleged dumber people are going to have kids by your own standard.
Well, we're in a surveillance society now, and I don't think that anybody has the ability to get anything past the powers that be. We're all being watched 100%. So
yeah, I agree. We got Palantir and all this bullshit. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, so I don't think that these alternative methods can go on without being like allowed, sanctioned. So like, yeah, I guess there could be alternative methods, like some being dangerous, but if you're smart, you're not gonna risk that. Like, are you? So like, yes, it's possible, but I would like to see how it plays out. To see,
okay, well, that's fine. I would prefer that people who are already taking birth control use it for a bunch of different reasons, not just avoiding pregnancy, also for regulating periods, right? There's a bunch of other benefits that come from birth control. Yes, there are some risks as well. I obviously agree with that. But like, I don't see why we should seize this perfectly reasonable medication from millions of women because you want to see what happens. Like, that sounds fucking stupid.
No, we want smart people to have kids. That's why.
And you just explained how the smart people are going to avoid having kids anyway by using alternative methods of birth control. So your whole plan here is fucking collapsing every time you talk.
Necessarily believe
a very eugenics kind of argument too.
Birth control is readily available. Breaking the law is something that not a lot of people do. In general,
how many people do you think speed in America?
Like,
which is a form of breaking the law,
that, I guess. But
a lot of people break the law. If you ever driven on a highway. Like at all in your life,
there are
see a bunch of people going over the speed limit.
There's contraband
yes,
law.
There are degrees in law. People break the law all the time.
Right.
If you don't see it, people jaywalk all the fucking time.
Contraband, like there's certain laws with contraband that a lot of people won't cross that barrier. At least in my opinion, and we would have to see how it plays out.
At least in my opinion, your opinion doesn't matter.
It makes sense what Ryan is saying. Like the people who are planners and are long-term planners, the smart people, like it's exactly what that movie Idiocracy was saying. Do you remember the beginning of the movie where they're like all of the rich, wealthy, high class people always waited until they waited till they were financially stable and they had their degrees and their jobs and all these things, and then they chose to have children. But then all the dumb people were just knocking boots left and right, reproducing. So then all of the dumb rednecks like Eli just like expanded and it was just like one redneck after another, and it just got dumber and dumber and dumber each generation. And then we ended up with the Idiocracy Society. So I see what Ryan is saying. Like the one tool that those smart people are using, you're going to take that away. The people who are reproducing without thinking about it, and they're not prepping, they're not planning, they end up on welfare, or they end up like with single parents, they're divorced, or this or that, all of these bad scenarios. Like those are the ones that are reproducing without using birth control, whereas your intelligent planners who would avoid that to begin with are like, what he's saying makes sense.
Yeah. Sarah, were you describing a movie or my last Thanksgiving? I couldn't tell.
Right. we get that though, right? But like, smart people don't only birth smart people, dumb people don't only birth dumb people, conservatives don't only birth conservatives, liberals don't only birth liberals. Like it's a dumb idea. That does not happen.
Well, I see that. I understand that, but essentially, like, if you are raised in, let's just use, for example, if you're raised in inner city, right? And let's pretend inner city people are the only ones reproducing, and that culture is just being captivated generation after generation after generation, and there's nobody there to change that. There might be a few exceptions to the rule. We acknowledge there are exceptions, but the majority, that is what they were raised by, and that's what they continue to do, right? So that concept continues over, any type of culture or group of people or whatever. Like if that's what you were raised in, then that's what you're going to typically live by.
Miss Tomato, can I weigh in on the topic?
Yeah, sure, why not?
All right, so I think a lot of people, and including our government, might be blowing this birth rate thing a little bit out of proportion. Stir up some fear. That's always been a tactic, right? As long as I've been alive. We won't know the results of this drop in pregnancy and all until we wait 10 or 20 years to see what happens, right? All we can do is speculate until that happens. But there is some concern because it's something I've noticed, and I'm pretty sure everyone will agree. I've been around for 55 years, and all I can remember is every year seeing pregnant teens everywhere. Every year of my life until about 3 years ago. I haven't seen one pregnant teen in 3 years anywhere. Now, while I've been alive, that's how we've populated the earth. And if I can remember correctly, when I was a youngin', there were about 3 billion people on earth, and now there's 8+. So that rate of population growth is what made every business in the world what it is. The business growth rates went along with the population rate. It's going to be interesting to see in 10 years from now, 20 years from now, there's going to be a drastic drop in the rate of baby products being bought and so forth and so on. 5-year-olds, 10-year-olds, teens, blah, 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 all the way up to adults. And it's going to scale its way down. Mathematically, I figured this out a long time ago. And it's going to be interesting to see what happens. Is it going to be a worldwide crisis that damns us all? No, I highly doubt that. And as human beings that are so goddamn stupid, our government could easily manipulate us into having kids, just pull some type of trick, get a couple stars or something to talk about it or anything, put out a couple movies. We're that stupid. I've been watching for a long time. Human beings do what they see and hear collectively and can't reject it. That's why the liquor industry is the way it is, and drugs and cigarettes and everything else. We are dickheads, amoebas for real. All of the animals that we call stupid do not deviate from nature. We're the only ones. So we could be manipulated to anything. I highly doubt this will ever be a crisis. Nobody has anything to worry about. Trust me.
Well, again,
Thank you. Before you talk, Eli, Angry Man is backstage, and I'm super fucking excited. But you guys have to boot someone before I can bring him up. So make it happen, and make it happen now. Thank you. Go ahead.
Hang on. Let me jump in on Reese real quick. It's already happening. It's already happening. If you pay attention to just McDonald's, Burger King, all these other places, there are no play places anymore. They're not catering to places with kids anymore. You used to go to the supermarket, and there used to be daycares for moms to drop their kids off to have their kids watch while they were doing their shopping.
Daycares in the high school in the 80s.
Exactly. And same thing for like the gym and your fitness club. You had a daycare so the adults could do the adult thing, and the kids had a place, to be entertained. Society's already drifting away to like the childless society, and there are already
What are you talking about? That became an industry. It didn't just go away. That became an entire industry.
What did?
People are paying entire months
What are you
rent
talking
for
about?
daycare now. There are daycares everywhere. You just have to pay for
Oh
it.
my gosh. Wow. Okay.
Oh,
No,
I know what he's talking
no.
about. There's daycares everywhere, but they're not. The daycares that are missing are the ones that were in high schools and stuff like that. And some of them are gone.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to talk to Ryan about, is that a lot of these programs that you see within society, we could even call a play place at a restaurant a type of program. This is going to follow after the society shows that there is a increase or at least a highly stable birth rate, right? But what he's pointing out is that we're seeing these things go away because they're no longer necessary. And childcare is so expensive because I think that could actually point to the declining birth rate, because if something is more
for free,
right, because it was just
free.
Can I point to the actual reason that this is happening, rather than all the moralizing that comes along with it? In the 1940s and 50s, we have what we call the baby boom. The baby boom was a population glut that happened along the birth rate. It was a big spike in the birth rate. The birth rate has been declining since as far back as we can extrapolate, in the mid 1800s. It's been declining since then. The baby boom was a big spike in the middle of that decline that we are now dealing with the tail end of. So how do we know that this isn't just a correction to correct the glut of population that we got from the baby boom?
Oh, that's a good
There's some
question.
twisted math
Sure.
going on real quick. There's some twisted math going on because I'm old, man. My city is twice the size it was when I was 15, and all of the surrounding cities are much, much bigger. And there's new apartment complexes going up and being filled everywhere. I've been watching it for decades. So that birth rate bullshit is bullshit. We have tripled the population of this earth in the last half century. And now, for the first time ever, there's no pregnant teens. I don't care what Google says or Fox News or any of that. I was alive watching it.
Well, again, this is why I'm pointing to the replacement level. It's a mark that it says if we're under this. Now, again, I'm not saying that we should all run around like chickens with our heads cut off. If we're under it temporarily, and then, it can spike back up. There's trends, sure. But what I'm saying is that if it stays this way, if it continues, or if it increases, if the snowball increases as it rolls down the hill, we're going to be in for problems. And I think that whenever you say, well, real quick, but what you said was, we don't have anything to worry about, and we should just see how this plays out, kind of going to, people who plan for the future, right? I think that would be unwise to just kind of roll the dice and say, well, the snowball either may go down the hill and we have catastrophic results, or it doesn't. I think that we should have preventative measures and work to get above the replacement level, even if we're only just a little bit below it, because it's better to be above it than below it. And I think that even Ryan would agree with that. If you can say it's better to be above it than below it, then guess what? We have a problem because we're below it. We shouldn't just wait to find out what's going to happen.
Let me read a couple of these. Clicker says, I'm pleasantly surprised that a pink long-haired dude is pro-life and pro-responsible people putting their base urges aside for the greater good.
Yeah.
Ryan can't get past being a boomer. Red Pill Crip says, when birth control didn't exist, people were more responsible about who they had schmecked with. The crutch of birth control provided people ways to be irresponsible without repercussions. Bring back shame. Fuck it button, as always. Eli bringing manufacturing back with a huge win factory. And I like punk rock Carrot Top more than I thought I would. Not everyone hates America. We don't want to import culture by necessity.
Thanks, fuck it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna need like a source for the idea that people were more responsible about having sex before birth control existed, because I doubt that.
It's easily understandable. Birth control incentivized certain behavior. You could kind of just figure out and think about it.
Yeah, but
Thinking
I'm
about
not
it,
convinced
incentivization
I'm not
rather than
convinced
the
that it
protection of
made
that
people.
would otherwise go on that behavior.
Yeah, I'm not convinced it made people.
I don't
less
think it was
more
I don't-
responsible.
I don't think it was what's good, everybody. I don't think it was just birth control. I think it had to do with value systems that we used to have, not just birth control. Like there used to be, like he just said a little while ago, there used to be more shame. What the I forget the guy's name with the pink hair. I don't agree that you should get rid of birth control, but I get what he's saying. Because just because we have birth control doesn't mean people are using birth control responsibly. Like we're still producing. I think the biggest problem that we have is the quality of people that we're producing today. I think that's the biggest issue. As far as population isn't a problem. We have plenty of space. The problem is everybody wants to live in the same areas. So we have these cities like Philadelphia, like Reese was just saying, you got certain places where everybody wants to populate there because of job opportunity or whatever. So I think the birth rate dropping is a huge problem, especially considering the fact that when we are replenishing, we're not replenishing people that are really contributing to society the way we used to.
How do you know that?
True. Well,
So how do I know that?
Yeah, how
You
do
gotta
you
be
know that?
kind of old.
Have
to
you looked
understand.
around?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You so you haven't
I'm
looked around and
Society seems to be getting along.
I'm stepping away
is the
for
amount of
just a
people-
moment. Eli, if you could just make sure everybody gets their talking time.
If
Thank you.
it weren't for like, you know, the proto-fascist government in power in the United States, I think that your country would be doing fairly okay.
Do you think that our relations increased in cohesion under Biden in between the two Trump administrations, or
I
have
don't-
things been going pretty much in a steady downhill as far as how well we get along with each other, regardless of who is in office?
This cohesion argument of yours is not convincing to me.
So
Wait,
you
you're
think
saying,
that?
wait, you're saying America is a fascist country? Please,
No.
please explain.
I'm not saying that America is a fascist country. I'm
You
saying
said we
that
have a proto-fascist leader.
Proto-fascist like administration.
Oh, you're talking about Trump? Okay,
Yeah.
Of course.
How is his administration proto-fascist? Please explain.
Well,
Proof.
it has the hallmark of, you know, a fascist regime.
How?
You just
Which
made an
is-
assertion.
Let me bring up the fascist regime.
Give some specifics though. That's just a poem.
Like
Right.
one
So
of the
you-
things I noticed. One of the things I
Who's
noticed
trying to undo
online-
democracy?
One of the things I
Left or
noticed
the right?
online is there are a lot of people that keep throwing around the word fascism.
Oh,
and
so many.
dictator. And
With
and
good
like,
reason.
let's be real. Have y'all even looked at what fascist governments actually did?
I don't want to derail us. Like, do we have to go into this? Because I will.
I mean, you said
You just made the
Hey,
claim,
look,
bro.
I made the claim, yeah, but if you guys don't have to attack it right now, but whatever.
I would argue.
So,
I would argue that we definitely. I would argue that we don't have a fascist administration for the simple fact that you can openly and publicly critique it.
Yeah. Without
You
getting
can.
fired in the head.
Tell that to
Donald Trump making
tell that
movements
to-
towards making it harder to
tell that
be
to
able to critique
Kilmar
it.
Obrego Garcia, please.
Yeah, he's about to try and get rid of an entire network because they said stuff about him. Don't fucking say that you can just say stuff openly in America right now.
He's been
He's trying to
suing-
take away ABC's license. He's tried to get reporters fired. Do you fucking pay attention?
ABC ABC has been sitting. ABC shows
Don't
have been
justify what he's
sitting
trying to
up
do,
there
dude. He's free
Why
speech.
do you,
I
why
don't know how long.
why is he
Free speech,
moving to
bro.
take away ABC's license?
ABC has been sitting up there pushing lies for I don't know how long.
10 years.
What lies?
10 years.
Wait, what lies?
By your subjective
Lies?
accounting, perhaps.
Yeah, this would be a defamation
let's
suit.
start
This would be a
with them
libel suit.
pretending-
This
let's
would be a
start with them
series of
pretending
suits
like
that would be
Biden
put
was
forward
responsible
for
Forget
a
the actual
lie.
networks
Hold on.
actually have rules on
Wait,
whether or
let's
not
just
people are on
second.
there.
Open Pandora's
Hold on.
box.
Respond.
One at a time, please.
Let's start with them pushing the narrative that Joe Biden was the sharpest he had ever been in his political career, especially considering the fact that he's never been sharp.
Considering the fact they never
Really?
been sharp, this would just be a
Yes,
way to
really.
open up the argument
That's what
that
you
he was
got?
the sharpest he was at this point. What are you talking
Absolutely.
about? Your attempt to
Absolutely.
minimize him in
I would
other
think-
points
I
in
would
time
think
is going to
that
make it
having
more
a- I
likely
would
that the
think
claim
that
that he was
having
the
a-
sharpest at any point in his
One-
life is
having
true.
a
Joe
president-
Biden is walking around with
1,
cancer,
2,
still
3,
giving
4,
speeches,
5.
looking like a
I would
skeleton,
think
and
that
you guys
having a
still think that he's
president-
fucking died like months ago.
I would think that having a president that is in office that should be in a freaking nursing home, that everybody has to
Well, then you're
question
against the
whether
current.
or
Why
not
should he
he's
be in a
actually
nursing
running
home?
the country. I think
Why should
that
he be
is
in a nursing
important.
home?
Can we
Why should he
like
be in a nursing home?
can we talk about the present instead
Because
of
you're
fucking
talking
Biden?
about ABC lying about how I'm being super sharp and all these things.
Like-
It would be really sad to find out you're lying about how degraded his mental state is, and you'd fall into the same critique you're saying that ABC should lose their license for. So why do you think he should
It
be in a
honestly
nursing
doesn't
home?
matter right now.
You didn't see any of his issues. You didn't see none of that.
Which issues are you pointing at?
You're not even kidding. Yo, he's not.
This conversation has been
I'm quite
derailed
serious. Which issues are
entirely.
you pointing at
And
such
it
that he
killed
should be in a
Dixon.
nursing home?
Every day,
I'm sorry, I should have
Yo,
expected this.
Joe Biden.
No,
Like,
we don't
it's-
have to. We don't have to stay
I have
on
to.
that.
I have
just
to
wanted him
walk
to
on
explain.
eggshells.
Remember
whenever
when
I
you
talk
guys
about
were
this
yelling
shit,
about
because I
wanting to
just
move off the
completely
do.
conversation when you
Excellent.
asked KO
This country is a
to justify
landmine.
claim
And now you have to
We- we-
justify
we-
what
we
the
don't
issue
have
with
to-
Why are
Joe
we? Why
Biden
are
was
we
and
all
you're
talking
trying to
over each
move on.
other? You guys know
I-
how I feel.
we don't
Eli,
have
wants
to-
Yeah, I know. I ain't no good.
We don't have to stay on
I
that
told
topic.
him
I
one
just wanted him to
time.
explain. We don't got to stay on that topic. We can get back on the regular topic. I just
Please,
wanted him to
please.
explain that
Remember
one
when they
thing.
laughed at KO
Just
Dave for
saying.
saying that before?
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
And Kokomo says, actually, keep the birth rate down. I'm about to start my baby factory empire. I mean, here's your chance to dance, right? If you really want to like pass on your legacy and have your bloodline. I mean, I feel like Elon Musk is doing this. Anybody else picking up on that? Like
go.
making multiple babies and kind of spread the seed and with different baby mamas too. Like kind of makes
Sperm
sense.
banks are going to be the new plasma centers.
Oh my god.
Kinda.
Anyway,
Is his
where were we?
favorite baby X2391?
Baby.
That's Elon's baby. It's his favorite one.
Oh god.
Hey, Miss Tomato, I gotta get out of here, man. This was fun.
Is that Reese saying
Yeah.
that? Oh yeah, no, absolutely, Reese. Thanks for stopping by. We appreciate you.
Like your opinions. That'd be cool.
All right.
Did you want to give any final thoughts? Tell everybody to shove off. Oh, okay.
No.
No.
He's gone.
There you go.
No. All right. And backstage, I do have Toasted, Neo Starling, one of our my favorite and my mama's personal favorite, and then also Ryan and Casting Shadows also hanging out back there still. So you got to do what you got to do, chat. And speaking of the goal, you have 30 minutes to fulfill that goal, or else we go night-night. Remember, we started early tonight. So, all right, back to you guys. Who's got all the-
So what? I'd have to say about the whole declining birth rate thing. I think I might actually go even more than Ryan did and say that I don't think this is an issue really. I think that as Effigy alluded to earlier, the baby boomer population spike is just going to naturally result in this demographic bottleneck that we're kind of barreling towards. And what's going to happen there, it's going to make things hard. We're going to have fewer young people to subsidize the care of old people. But when we get past all of that, right, however long that takes, when we come out the other end of it, and we will come out the other end of it, I think we'll be fine.
And how do you know we'll come out the other end of it?
Because in order for us not to, it would have to somehow lead to the destruction of like society as it stands, which these bottlenecks, I don't see them doing that. Maybe in a country that's looking at something as bad as what South Korea is looking at, then there might be an issue.
What we're afraid of, dude. That's what being under the replacement level does to a country, dude. So how do you know
but
we're
it's
not going to end up like them?
It's about how far under you are and
Yeah,
how
but can you
long
justify-
you've been. It's about how far under you are and how long you've been that far under.
Exactly.
And what you can do to get to overcome the population bottleneck.
Right.
So in South Korea, they're in heaps more trouble than the U.S. or Canada is. Like,
yeah, but do you
it's-
think they were
it's
ever
not
at our
good.
point at one point in time, and then they let
I
it
don't-
continue, and they got to where they're at? Definitionally, they would have had to have been.
I don't think the United States and Canada will get that bad.
Why?
Because
Eli, for how much of human history
we
were
have
we under 2 billion
one moment,
population?
One moment, effigy. For the United States and Canada, we have, first off, we do have immigration, and that's going to help lighten the blow, for sure. That's going to help lighten the blow quite significantly. It might even lighten the blow to the point that we don't feel it. Okay, and at that point, there's nothing to worry about at all. The problem that South Korea has and Japan is that they're very, I'm not going to say xenophobic, but they don't have a lot of immigration to help them lighten that blow, right? So that's the problem there that I don't see happening here.
But have we
Mass
had a decline
immigration.
in immigration or an increase in immigration over the past 10 years?
I don't know the statistics on that.
We can Google
Feels
it.
like we had an increase up until very recently, right? Things
Yeah.
now
Yeah.
no one wants to come here at all.
Well, yeah, but do you think that these birth rate statistics of them being lowered is something that happened recently, or do you think that it's a pattern that's happened over the past 10 years?
I don't know, because every time I ask you for even a single thing to Google to look at sources, you won't
We can
fucking
look
tell
at
me
it.
anything, which is so
We can
annoying.
look at it. We can look
yeah,
at
let's
it.
do it. While you Google that, I want to respond really quick. I know I don't want to get dragged down too much onto this, but you know, KO Dave mentioned Trump, the Trump
Sure.
regime being like proto-fascist. I want to. I would be
Trump
much bolder. I would say Trump
regime.
is
Trump
absolutely a fascist.
regime.
Yeah, so
Immigration
Trump is
is
absolutely a
Go,
fascist.
go ahead, Ryan. Go ahead, Ryan.
Thank you. Yeah. So Trump is absolutely a fascist, and I believe this because he embodies many fundamental tenets of fascist regimes throughout history. Number one is not just that he doesn't let people critique him, although obviously he does retaliate when people critique him. But fascism, for what it's worth, is a ultra nationalist authoritarian ideology, right? And it's manifested in a bunch of different ways throughout history. But some of the but some of the core things about it are including things like loyalty over law, right? So there's a civic loyalty to Donald Trump that he demands from people. He also is militarizing domestic policies, right? So he has pushed the National Guard into multiple states now, or multiple cities. There's like the third time I think he's looking to do it in Chicago next. And there's also a lot of the scapegoating and collective punishment. So he's scapegoating immigrants, saying they're destroying everything, and now he's doing mass deportations. And again, he's breaking the law to do a lot of these deportations, which is what happened to Kilmar Abrego Garcia, who is now about to be deported to some other random country he's never been to before. So yeah, I mean, these are all tenets of fascist regimes historically. You guys don't have to like it. I don't like it, but
You're
like
literally
these are
describing the Democrat Party as well. You know that, right?
What?
You're literally describing the Democrat Party as well. You know that, right?
How? Don't just side eye me. Like, tell me how. Answer the question.
So first of all, name everything that you just said. You said, first of all, you're talking about critique, right? Critique.
So I said it's a far right. So first I defined fascism. Okay, sorry.
They literally banned a sitting president from Twitter. Banned him. So
Who
that's
did?
not
Twitter did. I mean,
silencing
Twitter did.
someone.
So fascism is when Twitter
That's
bans
not-
somebody.
That's not silencing someone.
That was Twitter. That wasn't
That was
the
Twitter.
government.
The government didn't do
No,
that.
no. There is documented evidence.
So
No,
we
there's
didn't
not.
have, we
No,
didn't
there's
have
not.
Mark
Goodness
Zuckerberg.
gracious.
Hold on. So we didn't have Mark Zuckerberg and what's the other guy's name that used to be CEO of Twitter?
Jack Dorsey. Jack Dorsey.
Jack Dorsey.
So
Also,
we
you guys
didn't
realize
have
he was
Jack
banned
Dorsey
for 24
and
hours.
Mark
right?
Zuckerberg.
Oh no, not 24-hour ban.
Admitting to the government influence
24-hour
into their
bans are
social media
fascist.
platforms by the Biden administration.
So
That
the
didn't
government. So what definitely did happen is under Trump's first term, he actually did call for people to be banned who critiqued him, who called him a pussy ass bitch, because as we all know, he is a pussy ass bitch. That did actually happen. Donald Trump directly called Twitter headquarters and asked them to ban a user who called him a pussy ass bitch, which is pussy ass bitch behavior.
Ryan, that's not what I asked you.
There's nothing like that under the Biden administration. Absolutely nothing like that.
You did not have Mark Zuckerberg and Jack Dorsey admitting to the government's influence into their platforms during the Biden administration.
What do you mean government influence? I agree that the government reached out and pointed to specific accounts that were engaged in like suspicious activity that they thought might have been associated with Russian bots and stuff, which absolutely they were. A lot of them fucking were. A lot of them were Russian bots.
Hold on. As content creators, we couldn't even talk about certain topics without threat of being deplatformed, without some little note at the bottom to say, no, this is not what it was. And actually, a lot of those instances, a lot of those topics that we talked about, especially the pandemic and other things, turns out many of us
Pandemic was under Trump. That was under Trump.
One at a
And
time.
none of that was the government.
Bro, can I finish what I'm saying?
Please do.
Seriously.
So literally, there were things about the pandemic. There were things that were going on that many of us content creators could not talk about because we were told it was misinformation. This was under the Biden administration. And then we found out later that what we were saying was 100% true. It wasn't misinformation. So that was very fascist. But for some odd reason, when the Democrats engage in what could be considered fascism, it's fine.
The
It's not
Democrats did not.
Fascism,
wait,
fascism
the
is when
Democrats,
TOS gets enforced on you. I'm so
yeah,
sorry.
the
I
Democrats.
guess that's
Democrats were not controlling
Bad
Twitter or
Dems.
Facebook. or YouTube or Twitch. They weren't controlling any of these things. I don't
The
know why you
Democrats
think
were
that.
controlling. The Democrats were in power for 12 years, 12 of the last 16 years, bro. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
They don't. They don't control. Your
had 2 terms
economy
last time,
is a
right?
free market economy, my guy.
By himself
you
controlled
don't-
everything, but
No,
the
no, no.
Democrats didn't control anything.
Yes,
No,
he's
no, no, no,
consolidating
no.
power, my dude. That's why he keeps
Consolidating
passing
power.
executive order after
Consol-
executive order.
Yeah,
Yes,
because
that-
consolidating
presidents don't
power.
have the ability to
But his-
make an executive order.
He doesn't. He
I'm not
doesn't
saying
yet
that he
have
obviously
the-
has the ability to. Like that's why he just keeps doing it way more than any other president in American
You're
history.
upset that he's exercising his presidential powers through executive order.
I am upset that he is using executive orders to try to change the laws in ways that he could do through Congress, but he
Which
won't do because
laws?
he knows that he won't get
Which
those
laws?
wins in Congress.
Well, he's trying to
Which
change
law?
the Constitution like birthright citizenship by trying to make